Sorry, I sometimes I mute or make things disappear. I feel like there's something that's missing from right here. Oh, period. It's usually here. What what have I done? Okay, I'm sure we'll realize what it is. Oh, I know. Alerts. Did I? But I didn't mute. I didn't disappear them. Okay, maybe they're still there. I don't know. This is what happens when I don't download TikTok Studio. Hi, happy Thursday. I'm sorry I missed you guys yesterday. I forgot. I had an appointment scheduled with my neurologist like 3 months ago. And once you miss those, then you have to wait another 3 months. So just figured I should get that done. Okay. Let me get us live on. Oh, we're live on Twitch. That was easy. Let me get us live on YouTube and then we will get this party started. I have so many things to talk about today. Hey, Lahua, I haven't seen you in forever. Hey, Mackenzie. Let me just finish the super chat goal. We are up on YouTube and we will get going because, man, I have a lot to do. God. Watching Donald Trump is hilarious. I wasn't going to I'm going to just show you something that I just happened upon this morning. And I was like, I can't listen anymore to Donald Trump talk. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Where's Pickles? I, I think he's okay. I normally check on Pickles a lot. Like, I kind of haven't been okay. So maybe I haven't been checking on him as much as I normally do. Cause like, I literally I haven't been okay. So, but I think he's okay. I think I talked to him like at least last week. My whole family was here, but the week before, yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure he's okay. Like, he texts, like, we have a group chat. Like, if I ever suspect he's not okay, then I like look into it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Pickles is okay. He's as okay as I am. Let me put it that way. Like, if it ever seems like, he's way less okay than me, that I do something about it. But yeah, we're about the same amount of okay right now. So yeah, I think Pickles is good. It's just, sometimes he's on weird schedules, which is fine. I like that about him, the way he can just does what he can when he can do it. Like, I should do that more. My therapist says that that's healthy. So yeah, as far as I know, Pickles is just fine. Yeah, he's been doing lives. Yeah, it's just he doesn't always do them at the same time and things. So, but he is okay. Like I said, my family was been here for like a week and a couple of days, so haven't talked to him since then. But before that, we were texting, so everything's good with him. Sorry, I keep getting so many messages. I want to show. I feel like I haven't done something. I can't start the show until I remember what it is. Oh yeah. Hold on. I gotta pull up the Twitch chat. Hold on. And Streamlabs. Just let me get my dashboard up on Streamlabs. Okay, there we go. We're okay. I felt naked. I feel like things are missing. I'm serious. This alert thing, though, I think I'm just going to have to re-download TikTok Studio and it will appear again. Hopefully it will still tell me when people are following, though, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's here today. This is not my fault. Blame TikTok Studio. Okay, so it is August 21st. I just want to show before I have so many important things to talk about, but I just happened to see these 3 clips of Trump doing a radio show this morning. And I just think if you listen to Donald Trump or believe a word he says, it's just an indictment on how dumb you are at this point. How gullible you are, how incapable you are of doing any sort of research while having a supercomputer in your pocket, how much cognitive dissonance you're in. This guy doesn't even make sense. So Trump's first lie, was that I think his first lie was, I ended 4 wars. And then when Hannity was interviewing him after his failure with Putin, I think he's like, oh yeah, I ended 4 wars. And Hannity's like, I have 7. If by ended war wars. And can I just say then I've ended 57 wars. Before I started this live, I just spoke out loud wars I had ended. If you can just say out loud that you ended wars, then I ended way more wars than Trump. And if by ended you mean immediately after you pretend you ended a war, then both those sides attack each other again, then sure, I also have ended tons and tons of wars. Do you guys know that after Trump met with Putin, that the largest drone attack Putin has ever initiated on Ukraine happened immediately after? That's how Trump ends wars. He just says words. It's the same thing. Remember when MAGA used to talk about the Abraham Accords? And I was like, oh, you mean like the weird press release where Trump made up that he did a bunch of things he never did? Like, yeah, I can just claim I did things and I've never ever done them. Like, that's what, oh yeah, Trump ended wars. Exactly. Like, this is my new favorite thing. So, and I don't even know who Todd Starnes is. Trump shows up on this radio show this morning. I just want to show you 3 clips of how crazy Trump is. So this is Trump now saying he probably ended 10 wars.
I did 7 wars, probably more than that. They wrote an article and they gave me 3 additional ones that I ended without even knowing it. But, I saw things were going bad and it looked like it was going to go bad and it could have been 10, but it did 7 wars.
You get credit for fake. First of all, you haven't ended any wars. You've ended 0 wars. And again, that is 0 wars that Donald Trump has ended. Did you hear what he said there, though? He's like, well, I thought I ended wars. And then I was told oh, actually it was 7. That was Hannity making up a bunch of lies for him on Saturday. And then he's like, oh, and it turns out I think I ended 3 more I didn't even know about. What in the does that mean? How do you end a war that you don't know you ended? If you follow Donald Trump, if you are one of the people that shows up in the comments of this live to act like Donald Trump makes sense, that doesn't say anything about the rest of us. It's just embarrassing for you at this point. Truly. Hey, Nancy. Hey, guys. I know. I'm just going to play it again. While we're waiting for people to trickle in, tap the screen. Tap, tap, tap. Let's get to 50K as fast as possible. Share the live, gift, subscribe if you want to. Oh, let me make sure I don't know if I ever pinned the live goal. Now I did. Okay. I knew I was forgetting a bunch of things. If you think that this makes sense, don't show up on the internet to defend Trump. Go get help. Go seek men. You need to check in somewhere.
It's 7 wars, probably more than that. They wrote an article and they gave me 3 additional ones that I ended without even knowing it. But, I saw things were going bad and it looked like it was going to go bad and it could have been 10, but
could have been 10. Yeah, you have never ended a war in your entire career. What? It's am I the only person that can read? I do love his pathological eyes. Here's my favorite thing, though. Creepy orange grandpa that hates men in makeup but won't stop wearing makeup. This is real. This just happened a couple hours ago on this guy's radio show. This is for real. Trump says he can't tell anyone because it's super secret and the president of the United States can't tell anyone what they're going to be up to, but he's going on a mission to arrest immigrants tonight in DC. I don't know. This man's insane.
And I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your life.
Keeping something a secret, announcing it on a nationally syndicated radio show, is Grandpa okay? Is Grandpa okay? Yeah, Annie, the left is insane. Annie, bless your heart. Go check in somewhere. It's not even, I can't even argue with MAGA anymore. It's not fair. It's punching down at this point. You guys are all not well. You're not well, Annie. You're not well. I can't punch down on MAGA anymore. You guys are so sad that it's not fun anymore. It's just bless your heart, Annie. Learn to read. You're on a supercomputer right now and you're confused.
and I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, and with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job.
Oh, Donald Trump is going out with the federalized police force that is violating posse comitatus, violating the U.S. Constitution, and is turning the military on U.S. soil, and is like, oh, I can't say anything, but I'm going out tonight and doing that? Like, is anyone? Grandpa has lost his mind. This man is 80 years old and can't find his way. This is the oldest president in U.S. history. He can't walk. He can't talk. He can't think. He couldn't think 20 years ago. But yet Annie's still here making no sense. Like, Annie, it's about facts. You're on a supercomputer and you are clueless. Your brain doesn't even need to work, Annie. That's the point. You don't need to know how to spell anymore. Your phone can do your thinking for you. And instead of learning something, you're in the comments embarrassing yourself. That's why we feel sad for you. No one's like, oh, keep going, Annie. You're doing a great job. We're like, wow, Annie's an idiot. That's what we're thinking, and that's too bad. This guy doesn't make any sense. No, Annie, listen. No, that's, I think, anyways. Okay, this is my favorite thing, right? Like, just in case you ever thought, this is the guy that said he ended this war, counted in one of the 10, not a couple minutes before. And this is the guy's like, hey, do you think you're going to be able to end the Ukraine war? And what do you think he says? Nothing has changed with Donald Trump. 2 weeks. We're still at 2 weeks. This is today.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about, I would say within 2 weeks, we're going to know one way or the other.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about, I would say within 2 weeks, we're going to know one way or the other.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about
2 weeks. It was day one, the second time you got into office. It's 2 weeks again. Now, you don't have to be a genius to do math. Well, MAGA can't do math. MAGA can't read or do math. But yeah, 2 weeks has done past about 1,000 times. Like, what is this? And again, I don't like the ageist argument, but it's hilarious to say Joe Biden, who recovered the best in the G7 from the pandemic, his brain doesn't work. Joe Biden's brain doesn't work. We've got no men should have makeup on, but I wear a full face of makeup every day. Donald Trump, who no longer makes any sense whatsoever. And I do agree with people, as someone that's seen every Trump rally. He used to make more sense. He's always been a pathological liar, but now he's confused all the time on top of being a liar. Like it's scary now. And I wanted to show this. I just find this clip of from South Park, on Thursday, or them. Like, this is a clip, I think, of tonight's episode of DC being inhabited by the National Guard, which I find pretty hilarious. Wait, where's my clip? Oh, I have to go get it. Hold on one second. It's outside of this presentation. I have so many. Okay, wait, here it is.
Oh, wow! You did the station! Wow, the Supreme Court!
More sophisticated now than computers.
Wow! Washington Memorial! Oh, the Capitol! Oh, the Lincoln Memorial! And there it is, the White House.
I mean, truly, it's which we won't even get into how much that is hilarious, and I'll play more clips of that later.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace
I got to go back to
that
my
region, Mr.
presentation.
President?
Hold on a second. Let me get back to the presentation. What? Oh, this is sorry. I just got like 5 violations. Hold on. I understand this decision. My live does not contain the content mentioned in the notice. Sorry, I'm just appealing this, but I just got I got a new TikTok violation I've never seen. It says that I am publicly announcing like follow for follow. Like if people follow me, I'll follow them. I've never seen that. What? Like that's what it just said. I just got it's like this live's restricted. Maybe I should just restart. Oh wait, I can see the appeals if I open my phone. Someone taught me that. Let me look. Because again, I don't know. I think, and if I don't win the appeal, then I should probably just restart the live because they're like, you are banned from people coming in here, basically. There's a tab where I can look at the appeals on my phone. Appeal in progress. Yeah, I definitely never did any of the thing. Listen to this. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it contains content that manipulates user engagement, such as follow for follow. This is in line. What? How do you even do that? Like, I thought follow for follow online meant like you're telling people like, hey, if you follow me, I'll follow you. Like, that's what I understood it to be. Maybe I should just restart the live because I definitely did not do that. And I don't know how long it will take this appeal to go through. Well, whatever. I'm just going to keep. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. Like, I definitely never did that thing. I've done a lot of things, not the thing I was just accused of, though. Okay. I want to go over, while I'm waiting to see if this appeal works out and if I'm just going to have to restart the live anyways because I'm in trouble, let's all tap the screen. And I'm going to just touch on this Cracker Barrel thing really quick. Have you guys seen this? MAGA's upset about Cracker Barrel changing their logo. Donald Trump Jr. I can't like stay conscious during my live streams because I'm on so much whatever it could be, or I'm so overstimulated. Like it's scary to watch. And I pay for his lives. Like I know that. I watch Triggered, his podcast on Rumble. And that's just some things I've noticed. He's screaming about the new Cracker Barrel logo, which here, I think I took this is the basic new Cracker Barrel logo, which they're mad there's no like cracker by a barrel anymore. You know, there's like no old white man next to a barrel in the logo, and they feel this is like white erasure. I don't know. Maybe I'm not even grasping right what they're mad about, but I think that's what it is. You know how there was like some old man next to a barrel? Well, they're mad that the old white man's no longer next to the barrel. They're furious about it, and they're protesting. Cracker Barrel Old Country Store's new logo and makeover seems to have fallen flat among investors, with shares losing another 13%. As well, whatever. That's normal in the stock market. As part of the company's efforts to soften its rustic identity, Cracker Barrel has brightened its interiors to a more modern farmhouse aesthetic, changed its menu to include seasonal offerings, decluttered its restaurant interiors, and more recently changed its logo to a cleaner version of the iconic barrel without the old man in an effort to be more inclusive. So I guess like MAGA's super upset there's no cracker next to a barrel anymore, if I understand correctly, and they are not having it. Why is my review not going through? I didn't do what you're saying I did. Sorry. I'm just refreshing to see if... my appeal was approved! Finally, justice! I didn't. I was like, I couldn't have possibly done that. I don't even know how to do it. Remember, this was the old Cracker Barrel logo. Now there's no cracker next to a barrel. And they like MAGA's losing their over it. No, don't worry. You're still the only people going in there. Like, what are you worried about? Nobody else is going. Don't worry. I won the appeal. I have been freed from jail. Like that was, I knew I was probably, finally I won something. I usually lose every appeal. But again, if you're just joining us, I'm just going over MAGA being upset that the Cracker Barrel logo no longer includes an actual cracker next to a barrel. And they feel like that's white erasure. And so they are super angry, even though they're the only people that go into Cracker Barrel anyways. Now they are going to bankrupt it, which would only mean less places for white people stopping on the sides of interstates to eat at. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that applies to any of the rest of us, nor why should any of us care. Yeah, they removed the cracker next to the barrel. This is the new logo no longer has the old white man next to the barrel, so they're very upset and they feel that's racist. I don't know. I can't, I literally can't figure out what people are mad at on the internet these days. You're the only people that go in there. Like, it's still your special place. But the reason I wanted to show you guys that is because what Gavin Newsom's press office account was saying this today. What is wrong with Cracker Barrel? Keep your beautiful logo. The new one looks like cheap Velveeta cheese from Walmart. The place for groceries. An old-fashioned term. Remember? Because Trump's like, groceries. That is where you put food into a basket. Fix it ASAP. Woke is dead. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Like, oh, I cannot get enough of this stuff. But again, it's okay, white people. No one's going into Cracker Barrel but you guys. You guys got this. That's your special place that no one's ever going to take away from you because the food does not taste good. Like, nobody's interested in being inside a Cracker Barrel but you guys. And I didn't even know, I mean, the things white people care about, there's just no way to ever tell what they're going to be. I know. Gavin's on a roll. I'm here for it. Maxwell, I literally have never been to Cracker Barrel, but my MAGA cousins love it, so that tracks. I know. My white mother loves it. Like, she's always like, do you want to go to Cracker Barrel? I'm like, for the last time, no. And when I played volleyball, I played Division I volleyball, like, and we would play in like weird places. I think one time my coach made us go there and everyone's like, where are we? Like, there's like 20 rocking chairs outside. That's all I remember is you can sit in like rocking chairs outside. That part was cool. But the food I remember was not good. Like, I was like, this is worse than Denny's. But then again, that could be, I don't know, is it franchise? That could be local. I don't want to complain about any franchise's food because maybe not all of them are absolutely disgusting. But, oh yeah, the best part is that gift shop, which apparently when I was reading the prospectus that they were releasing for their like earnings call, apparently that might be going away. They're like, we're decluttering. I was like, that's the only good part is all that crap in there that you could look at. Like, so if the weird store goes away, I would never go in there again. Franchise, but with local ownership. See, there we go. I shouldn't complain about the food. Who knows? Maybe the food's good in some places and not in others. Thank you for whoever explained that to me. Okay, I want to move on to just an update. I need to get I think I have this in two places in the outline. Sorry, I just got to get my outline open because I think I'm going to need to skip ahead. Okay, yeah, I found the second section. Sorry, I have a big outline today. Okay, yeah. So just update. Thank you for the bow on the Epstein files. Let me This is Mark Elias, who does all the voting challenges and stuff from the Elias Law Firm. Trump hates him. This was him yesterday on MSNBC.
The Republicans in the House almost certainly are going to have to vote on whether to release the Epstein files. Now, the jujitsu that's starting to play out, you can just already see it, is that the Justice Department is going to selectively send some records to the House committee. Comer is then going to selectively release only some of those records. And I promise you, none of them will include the name Donald Trump. And so they will preemptively say, look, we did the thing that we said we were going to do. Democrats will call it out and say that is not true. And then the question is, where does the politics fall? Does the Trump coalition just say, okay, that's good enough? Or, as I suspect is the case, they say, no, we actually really want all the Epstein files. Like we didn't come this far to just have some of them. And that's where I just think like they have misread the politics of this all along. People may not understand all the nuance of policy. They may not really understand how Medicaid cuts affect them this year versus next year. They may not understand who is telling the truth or not telling the truth about tax cuts. They understand what it means that there was a child sex trafficker in the name of Jeffrey Epstein, that Donald Trump's campaign promised to release those files, that Donald Trump has a reason, some really good reason personal to him, that he doesn't want them released, and that the Republican Party is doing his bidding. That's not a complicated story for people. The Republicans in the House almost certainly are.
So well said, because like I spend a lot of time online explaining high level concepts, like or what I think are simple concepts, but what I've determined with MAGA, their idiocy and cognitive dissonance seem to be very difficult for them. Like, hey, you've been robbed. I'm going to walk you through the math of how Donald Trump just robbed you. That big, beautiful bill was the largest transfer of wealth to the top 1% in a bill in history. Like that will affect you. Here's how. And they're like, I don't get it. I can't figure it out. But it does seem, I agree with what Mark Elias is saying. Thank you for the bow that the Epstein files is a simple thing. Like, hey, a bunch of very rich people were diddling kids. And it seems like Donald Trump, who campaigned off, he was going to do something about it. Then it turned out he was all up in the files. Now we got Ghislaine Maxwell, the only person ever to be held accountable. Thanks, Joe Biden, for it, moved to a cushy place, and all sorts of weird things are happening. Yeah, I think people can understand that concept. And let me, because I didn't find these later. Sorry, I just need to go farther in the presentation and find my second stuff on Epstein, and then we'll get to the other stuff. But I just have a couple more clips that are super important that we look at before moving on. Yes. I think it's a Rachel Maddow clip, which is even better. I love Rachel Maddow. Yeah, Rachel Maddow played this clip on her show on Monday night, and I was going to talk about it with Matt, but then we were interviewing Alyssa Ellman, who's running in New York 24, Claudia Tenney's district, who, if you missed it, the replay is on my YouTube. God, she's absolutely a fabulous candidate. And then I didn't do a live yesterday because I had some stuff I had to do. But this is a clip from Rachel Maddow's Monday show and something I really wanted to talk about, which is that the only like MAGA conspiracy theorist, like true original MAGA type who has pushed back on Trump about the Epstein files was Dan Bongino. And he's effectively now just like a lame duck. Trump won't fire him because that will be it for him with MAGA if Dan Bongino goes. But he's essentially hired another person to do the job while Dan Bongino just sits there.
The deputy director of the FBI, a former podcast host named Dan Bongino, is effectively out of his job. He is the FBI deputy director. They are adding another person with that same job title to the FBI to be co-FBI deputy director with Dan Bongino. So you tell me.
Sorry, I don't know why this looks like. Oh, sorry. Maybe that's not my clip. Sorry, I had no idea why it looked like that.
They are adding another person with that same job title.
Is more sophisticated now than computers.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out if I have technical difficulties or why it's not playing. Give me a second. Because usually if something's wrong, it tells me. Let me go back and start over.
The deputy director of the FBI, a former podcast host named Dan Bongino, is effectively out of his job. He is the FBI deputy director. They are adding another person with that same job title to the FBI to be co-FBI deputy director with Dan Bongino. So you tell me what that means about whether or not Dan Bongino is out of a job. Bongino, of course, has reportedly objected to the Trump administration's efforts to block the release of records related to Jeffrey Epstein, both before and after it was reported that FBI agents were assigned to redact Trump's name from the files related to Epstein's case. Bongino, a reported critic of the administration's decision on this matter, somebody who has confronted, reportedly, Attorney General Pam Bondi on this issue, among other things. MSNBC has not confirmed this reporting tonight from Fox News, but again, the Fox reporting tonight is that Dan Bongino is effectively out. He has had somebody else given his same job title after he reportedly clashed with the White House and Attorney General Pam Bondi over the administration's efforts to suppress the material about Epstein that it holds in its own files. Tomorrow is the deadline by which Pam Bondi's Justice Department is supposed to hand over Epstein-related materials to House Republicans on the Oversight Committee. The Republican chair of that committee says the DOJ will not meet that deadline tomorrow, but they will start handing some stuff over later, soon. Okay, we'll see. But, you know, with 70% of the country disapproving of Trump's handling of the Epstein matter, perhaps it is mathematically inevitable that the overall popularity of this president continues to plummet. His support with the American people just continues to drop to, I think, levels that we could not have foreseen at the start of this second presidential term. Trump's overall approval rating right now is underwater by a 22-point margin. By 22 points, Americans disapprove of the job Trump is doing as president. And this is something we're seeing more and more of. If you look inside those numbers, the country, it turns out, is not just turning against Trump, it's hardening in its turn against him. And what I mean by that is, if you look at just the minority of Americans who say they do approve of Trump, the proportion of Americans who say they strongly approve of Trump is 27%. Whereas the proportion of Americans who say they strongly disapprove of him is 47%. I mean, we haven't seen numbers that low for Trump's approval overall. We haven't seen numbers that low for people who strongly approve of Trump since right after January 6th. I mean, nearly half the country now describes themselves as strongly disapproving of Trump as president. The number of people strongly disapproving of him is 20 points higher than the number of people who say they strongly approve. The deputy director of the FBI.
It's crazy, which I actually have I took a bunch of screenshots because that's from this Pew Research poll that just came out, which there's no more reputable polling than Pew Research in terms of the algorithm. And that's from the Pew Research poll that just came out. It's fascinating to read, and I have those screenshots and we can go through more of it, but no, the United States no likey Trump. Thank you, Lahua. If the change is to promote inclusion, we need to try Cracker Barrel and show our support. We should. I want to be one of the crackers at the Cracker Barrel. Let's do it. Apology, your name was autocorrected. I know everyone, it's not just Felipe from Felice, which, by the way, my second grade boyfriend, when I was in second grade, obviously my name's Felice. I was going to say my name was Felice. I think that's obvious. But my boyfriend's name was Felipe. Isn't that cute? He was this Hispanic kid. We were adorable. Don't know what happened to him. Maybe I should look into it. Okay. So again, the person that they basically were like, we can't fire Dan Bongino because that will be the end and MAGA will lose it. I just want to show you guys the guy they hired. He's Missouri's former attorney general. This guy is a whack job. And this is a clip of him a year ago, June 4th. 2024. I just want to show you how nuts the guy is that is now second in charge of the DOJ.
Why are we seeing these decisions right now? Well, he's clearly trying to interfere in the election by using his official office to try to buy votes with the student loan debt cancellation plan. And again, I don't concede that there's any such thing as
Are right in thinking that this man is saying, when at the beginning of Joe Biden's term, when he did student debt cancellation, that Joe Biden, years later, when he was running for re-election again, was trying to buy votes with student loan forgiveness. So that's what this whack job is saying.
So that debt is going to be passed on to working Missouri families, and that's why this lawsuit's so important. But I think he's also realized that he's used lawfare against President Trump, and that's going to boomerang at some point. What role is he playing in election interference if he's trying to buy votes? And is there a red state prosecutor out there that could potentially charge him with a criminal offense?
Why are we seeing these decisions?
These are the whack jobs who do whatever Trump says now. Like, I love Trump supporters. You guys are idiots. You guys just give up your rights. You guys should just draw up something, sign a form, and just say, I don't want my rights given to me under the Constitution. Like, I'm a cuck and I'm just on my knees for Trump. Like, you guys are truly idiots. Oh, and this is a great summary. I think this was a piece done on CNN. Oh my gosh, why is the volume up on this? I knew I could hear something. Why is this not? It's not up. That's weird. I'll have to figure that out in a second. But this is a piece on CNN, I think, that sums up this whole Epstein thing beautifully and how corrupt it all is.
Breaking news in the Jeffrey Epstein controversy. A federal judge has just rejected the Trump administration's request to make grand jury documents in the case public. The judge had this to say in his ruling, quote, "The information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to the Epstein investigation information and materials in the hand of the Department of Justice." We have CNN legal.
Just want to explain to you what's happening, which the original ruling when they weren't going to really, and the Judge Berman originally said, which I highlighted on this show on the People's Receipts, the part in the ruling where he's like, yeah, they already know this. As a matter of fact, Trump's lawyers were writing in their brief, not release these grand jury transcripts, but saying, you can't. And Judge Berman is saying, like, you guys know that whatever's in these grand jury transcripts, I can't legally release them, but it pales in comparison to what the DOJ has and refuses to release. And they can release it anytime they want to.
Analyst Elliot Williams with us now. Quite a response from the judge there, Elliot.
It is quite a response, and he even uses the language I thought you were going to quote, Brianna, is where he says that the Justice Department has a substantial investigative trove in their possession that could be released to the public if the Justice Department so chose. There's nothing shocking about the judge denying a request to unseal grand jury materials because of how clear the law really is around the country about not making grand jury materials public. So this isn't a big shock here. Certainly not the last we've heard of this.
And it's another judge, right, doing this. So another federal judge has already denied a DOJ request to release Ghislaine Maxwell's grand jury transcripts. And they said that much of what the DOJ sought is already public. It was presented during her trial, so it's out there. DOJ knows what's in the transcripts. So when you're hearing what these two judges are saying here, Elliot, what should we actually be concluding about whether the DOJ is actually working in good faith to be transparent about what's in the docs?
Yeah. I think the good faith question is a very important one. To be clear, it would have been incredibly unlikely for grand jury materials to ever have been released in this case. As I said a moment ago, the law is remarkably clear on this issue, and it's really only subject to very few exceptions when you would ever make grand jury materials public.
So understand, that's not the fault of federal judges just for following the law. That is Trump gaslighting his idiot followers who don't know the law and can't read. And it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to release these transcripts, which I once went over, like how tiny these transcripts are and how little it actually is in comparison to the Epstein files that Trump can release anytime he wants, right? It's like 1%. of 100%. And Trump can release the 100% anytime he so chooses. So that was just him gaslighting the people that believe in him, but saying, oh yeah, don't worry, we're going to go to a federal judge, even though anybody who knows the law and understands knew that none of that, the judge can't release this. And Donald Trump's lawyers in their own brief reminded the federal judge the first time, you can't release any of this, so don't.
The next question is, well, what could be made public? It's whatever is in the Justice Department's possession, and that's all of their investigative files that the judge today made a reference to. Now, it's a judgment call for the Justice Department to decide how much of its files it would wish to make public in this case, but it really comes to them. And to your question about good faith, it's really a question for where the Justice Department wishes to satisfy public clamoring for information on this, but also their desire to protect the things that are in their possession. And that's really a call only the Attorney General and the people around.
Breaking news.
Amen. Because this is all just Trump gaslighting and obfuscating. Your boy Trump is all up in the Epstein files, which anybody who can use logic, reason, deductive reasoning, we all already knew that. You guys are the only weirdos that can't find your way out of a paper bag. And now instead of holding him accountable, you guys are letting him he's pretending that some files will be released, which if you were here when I played that first clip, Mark Glass is like, yeah, not one file here. Actually, sorry, I'm updating my gift goal. Thank you for reminding me in the chat to update my gift goal. I am doing it now. If you are not following me, please follow me now. If you would like to subscribe, that's the yellow star in the bottom corner. Updating my gift goal now. I appreciate the reminder. And sorry, I'm just going to the bottom of the presentation again. And so I found those clips a little later and had to add them at the end. But I just want to remind you, this is the next steps. Trump is now pretending that James Comer is going to preside over, we're going to release something, Congress is going to release something, and they're not. That's what's important to notice, is it's whatever Donald Trump and Pam Bondi deem they're allowed.
The Republicans in the House almost certainly are going to have to vote on whether to release the Epstein files. Now, the jujitsu that's starting to play out, you can just already see it, is that the Justice Department is going to selectively send some records to the House committee. Comer is then going to selectively release only some of those records. And I promise you, none of them will include the name Donald Trump. And so they will preemptively say, look, we did the thing that we said we were going to do. Democrats will call it out and say that is not true. And then the question is, where does the politics fall? Does the Trump coalition just say, okay, that's good enough? Or, as I suspect is the case, they say, no, we actually really want all the Epstein files. We didn't come this far to just have some of them. And that's where I just think they have misread the politics of this all along. People may not understand all the nuance of policy. They may not really understand how Medicaid cuts affect them this year versus next year. They may not understand who is telling the truth and not telling the truth about tax cuts. They understand what it means that there was a child sex trafficker in the name of Jeffrey Epstein, that Donald Trump's campaign promised to release those files, that Donald Trump has a reason, some really good reason personal to him, that he doesn't want them released, and that the Republican Party is doing his bidding. That's not a complicated story for people. The Republicans in the House,
man, especially we're going to go through so much Trump corruption, pick your poison. One of my least favorite people in Congress is Harriet Hagman. This is the monster. Okay, I'm not saying this. It's just my job. This show is called The People's Receipt, so I'm just going to tell you what people online are saying. Again, I didn't say this. Some people say this is the representative that replaced Liz Cheney in the House in Wyoming. Some people say she is George Santos's twin. I didn't say it. I just hang out on X where Republicans and Democrats all call her George Santos's clone. I don't know. But she was doing she was doing a town hall, and I just want to play 2 clips from it.
We have to have mail-in ballots. My question to you was, how do you feel personally of stripping Americans of those foundational tools of mail-in ballots?
Tools?
Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots are not foundational tools.
You just said we have to protect it, but it's not foundational.
You're fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a mail-in ballot. You are absolutely fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a ballot.
Hall went bad. She says mail-in ballots aren't a foundational tool. Well, they are in Russia, where even in Russia they could do mail-in ballots. Probably because they just find the people right after and poison them. But they, at least in Russia, that is a tool of democracy.
Who's responsible for establishing tariffs in our country?
Well, right now the president has taken that authority, but I imagine when we go back in September, we're going to be talking about that.
Why did he take that authority?
You're going to have to ask.
You guys gave it to him. The House of Representatives.
Understand how dumb this woman is? She doesn't know that they handed the authority for him to just do this random tariff shit. Yes, that was an authority granted to Trump by Congress. It was extended when we did those continued resolutions. That's why, remember when we were all super mad at Chuck Schumer because he didn't shut the government down? And they extended Trump's right to manipulate the markets and do all this tariff shit through the end of the fiscal year. And she does not know that. He's like, no, you handed the right to Trump to ruin our economy with tariffs. And she said, I dispute that, because she's too dumb to know that is a power of the legislative branch, one of the many that you limp D's ceded to Trump.
Are responsible for establishing tariffs. You gave that to him. The next thing I'd like to ask you,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
You look at the bigger picture. You're here to take
tariffs have raised over $150 billion.
Who pays for that?
Know how small we are borrowing $3.3 trillion now and $2 trillion later. And she's like, we have 100. And actually, she knows the real number. Trump says he's collected trillions in tariff revenue, which is a pathological lie. She said the real number, which is somewhere around 150 billion. Do you understand what I've realized is MAGA does not understand numbers. They think 150 billion is like the change in your couch when you are going to borrow 3.3 trillion. Like, that's how dumb this woman. She doesn't understand numbers. That's nothing. That's like being like, here's a quarter, but I owe $1 million. Are you okay? Oh, no, you're not. We already know that. She's awful.
Inflation has not gone up. Inflation has not gone up.
And without saying, which I really wish we could stop saying this, because every time a Republican, especially a rich one, says, hey, we're collecting billions in tariff revenue, then you should spit in their face, because what they're saying is we're stealing from you. You guys are going to pay state taxes. You guys are going to pay federal taxes. And on top of that, every time you have to buy something in this economy to survive, you're going to pay more. So I don't have to pay taxes. So corporations don't have to pay taxes. And we're all laughing at you behind closed doors. Oh yeah, inflation is way up. This is the other... Wait, did I... Okay, yeah. This is what I want to get into. So again, another thing that's going on is Charlie Kirk was lying, I think, on Tuesday about Bill Barr meeting with Congress and saying that Trump... This is what Charlie Kirk said. Right-wing podcaster Charlie Kirk on Trump's former AG Bill Barr's deposition yesterday. Charlie Kirk's a pathological liar, and this is one of his biggest. Former AG Bill Barr told House investigators that he never saw anything that could tie President Trump to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. According to Oversight Chair James Comer, quote, he said that he had never seen anything that would implicate Trump in any of this. Robert Garcia, who's, I'm going to show you, was just inducted as the ranking member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee that James Comer is the chair of, said Comer is lying about what Barr testified to. Quote, yesterday, during his deposition with our committee, AG Barr could not clear President Trump of wrongdoing. Chairman Comer should release the entire unedited transcript, which I want it because I'll read it. I'll put it into an AI tool, and I'll isolate all the lies, but they're withholding it. This transcript is not publicly available. This is the same thing they did with the Hunter Biden interview, and then when it was completely released in its entirety, along with the other ones, and you cross-referenced them, there were no lies. Of course they don't want to release the truth, because Bill Barr said under oath to investigators in Congress that he could not clear President Trump of wrongdoing. And I have two clips because Robert Garcia went on Midas Touch's podcast and was talking about this. And I think it's important we set the record straight.
Yeah, I mean, where's the testimony? Even though nobody really asked for Ghislaine Maxwell, who was accused of perjury and is a convicted sex trafficker. No one was like, you know who we really need to hear from right now and make her prison conditions better? Let's release Ghislaine Maxwell, release the files, not release the co-conspirator sex trafficker. But still, even though we know that Trump sent his former criminal defense attorney, who he's now made the number 2 at the DOJ, Todd Blanche, to conduct that, we know that the questions are going to be framed likely in leading ways that do not address the core issues about Trump. They still haven't even turned over that publicly, which, like, what are you doing? We just send randomly the number 2 at the DOJ, help out sex traffickers, and then don't release the things public. It's just wild to me.
Let me add one more thing to that. This is really important. I'm not at liberty to tell you what Bill Barr said about Todd Blanche and the way that he's been arranging his meetings with Ms. Maxwell. What I can say is I want the American public to hear what Bill Barr said in deposition about how he views the Department of Justice, the current Department of Justice's actions and Todd Blanche's actions as it relates to this deal with Ms. Maxwell. The American public should know what was said, and we look forward to getting that information out.
Yeah, I mean,
here's one more clip about this, because this is important. Trump and Charlie Kirk are pathologically lying while they try to cover up that Trump is all up in the Epstein files. And again, even whether Trump is or Trump isn't, like, also just cover up for a bunch of powerful people who have hurt children. But again, the Republicans care about women and children. This is your chance, MAGA, because I know you guys don't. Mathematically, statistically, every piece of legislation you pass punishes and takes from women and children, statistically. So you don't, but maybe in your head you believe you do. Well, here's the Republican Party covering up trafficking for the President of the United States. And while you guys all sit here in the comments and be like, yeah, you just got Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, you've got I cover up for trafficker syndrome. Look into it.
Republicans. That's number one. And number two, I just want to read the portion of your statement where you say, to be clear, yesterday during his deposition, Attorney General Barr could not clear. I think that this needs more attention. Attorney General Barr could not clear Donald Trump of wrongdoing. Chairman Comer should release the full unedited transcript of his interview for the public. So I know this puts you in a bind in the sense that you play by the rules. You can't go into the specifics of what's said, but can you provide any additional context other than that statement about what it means that he could not clear Donald Trump?
Well, look, let's put the facts where we know them. Donald Trump, we know, is in the Epstein files. We know that his name is there. We know that the Justice Department told him and that Pam Bondi directly told the president that he appears in the files. And we know that Barr gave testimony, of which, of course, much of it is still sealed. And I've made the request to Comer and the Republicans let's put all of these tapes and depositions out to the public. We have nothing to hide here. If someone's got something to say, why not let the public hear it, as long as we're protecting any names of any victims? And so what I would say that in no way was Bill Barr's testimony change the direction of this case. In no way did Bill Barr say anything that was groundbreaking in a way to halt our desire and need for justice for these victims and our certainty that Donald Trump and his name and other folks that may have been involved in different ways with Epstein are not in these files. We know that they are. And so Bill Barr's testimony was an act of Republicans trying to control a narrative, which they're going to do over and over and over again. What the folks that we need to hear from is you're exactly right. Alex Acosta knows more about Jeffrey Epstein than probably any living human being on the planet. He put together Jeffrey Epstein's deal. He's intimately knows the ins and outs of the case, of what happened, of who did what, of every document, of the client list, of what the FBI was investigating, what the U.S. Attorney's Office was engaged with. And so this idea that we're not going to call the single most important living human being that knows more about this than anyone, I think is a real, I think, part of a broader scheme to cover up the facts. However, we know now that there's Republicans out there. Now, I've talked to a couple already, including one that's gone public, which is Representative Luna, who have said they're willing to hear from Alex Acosta. So what we've told James Comer is if you are not going to put forward a motion to subpoena Alex Acosta, then we're going to have to force another vote when we come.
Republicans, that's number one. And
again, I know mathematically, statistically speaking, Republicans don't care about children. They definitely don't care about women. They've shown us that with every piece of legislation they pass. But if you are still one of the delusional people that follows Donald Trump, that believes that you do, then you need to decide if you're going to keep following him. Why would you cover all this up? Why keep Alex Acosta from testifying? Same thing with like Doge. We don't know. Elon Musk saved not a dime. The whole Doge thing. There was a Doge subcommittee. We could never subpoena and have Elon Musk under oath. Turns out he just stole a bunch of stuff and costed us money. Super weird, right? That we could never subpoena him with a congressional subpoena. Who's in control of Congress? Republicans. Who's in control of the executive branch? Republicans. Who's in control of the judicial branch? Republicans. Why are they hiding the truth from the American people? Period. That's it. If there's nothing we should worry about, there's no reason to hide the truth. And yesterday, so Robert Garcia, the guy you just heard talking, he was sworn in as the ranking member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee, which if you're like, what does that mean? It means like when all this stuff goes down, when Congress is back in session in September and they're going to push a discharge petition, we have the signatures to force the release of the Epstein files. And there's going to be these congressional hearings in Oversight and Accountability and the Judiciary Committee. Our ranking member of Judiciary is Jamie Raskin, the gentleman from Maryland, and our ranking member of Oversight and Accountability was Jerry Connolly. He passed away, I believe, of throat cancer. And Robert Garcia is being sworn in as the ranking member. And he was sworn in yesterday by Kamala Harris. And I loved the speech he gave. Watch this. And I also love Kamala Harris.
So I am very proud to be here this evening to administer this oath. And I will say, you know, I spent some time in D.C., as you all know. And so, but then I had the opportunity to also witness his leadership from that vantage point. And let me tell you, when Robert Garcia walks the halls of Congress, people pay attention, if not try to catch up. Okay? I've seen him with his colleagues. We all know and are so very proud of everyone seeing what we knew. He was elected by his peers, freshman class representative of Congress, by his peers. The position he is now going to take as a ranking member because he was elected. So what an incredible mark of a leader that their peers recognize their leadership and ask them to lead even more. So with that, I am very proud.
I know. Ashley said the loss of my life is Kamala Harris. I know. And like, it's just the true measure of the idiocy of MAGA. Cause they're like, well, she just didn't know anything. Like, let me tell you something. This is one of the most intelligent public servants, U.S. public servants in history. You don't know anything. Your brain doesn't work. You're insecure if you can't understand that women are more qualified and more intelligent than you are. It's not an indictment of her. People whose brains work, who are also intelligent, know how intelligent this person is. And what we know for sure is how dumb MAGA is. So again, every time, this is why I can't debate online anymore, because there's nothing to debate. You guys are idiots. Like the verdict is in. I don't need to debate. I can't waste any more time talking to people whose brains don't work, who say things like, yeah, I just couldn't get there with Kamala Harris because Donald Trump was more qualified. Just hold up a sign that says, hey, I'm a fucking idiot. And then we can just move on. You don't need to show up and try to debate or make a point. Like, you've lost. Just by having that opinion. That's it. Michelle, I haven't seen you in forever. Thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. I appreciate it so, so much. And your own insecurity. Yes, you should be insecure, MAGA men. You are dumb. Women are smarter than you. Black women are the most educated cross section in this country. You should feel small and insignificant when a Black woman speaks. Every single time. Just know you are weaker and you are less intelligent. Okay, and we don't need to see the actual speech, but this is the speech that Robert Garcia gave after he was sworn in. I'm just saying we don't need to watch the actual like swearing in because it's kind of lengthy.
We want to make sure that government is working for us and for the American public. But as we do that, we should be very honest and clear-eyed about what is happening right now in our country. Donald Trump is attacking everything that we love and know about our country. And he's putting himself first every single time.
I just want to clarify, because I don't think, if anyone's like, when did this happen? This happened last night. And yeah, this is one of the things I'm enjoying most. Midas Touch seems to be developing, like, they have a lot of cameras and be covering events that like aren't widely covered. This, again, in case you missed, this happened last night. Robert Garcia was sworn in by Kamala Harris as the ranking member of Oversight and Accountability. So all these congressional hearings we have where Republicans make up lies, Robert Garcia, former mayor of Long Beach, and trust me, I watch every congressional hearing. He's a great person to have this job. This is the guy that followed Marjorie Taylor Greene around for 2 years and just blew up her tweets and shamed her every time she spoke. Like, oh, this is perfect. But yeah, this was last night, and Midas Touch covered it live, which I thought was really cool.
He's seeking property deals and real estate transactions, oftentimes in foreign countries where we should be doing diplomacy. He's accepting enormous gifts, like the plane that we have all heard about from Qatar.
Also, what's not a gift, $934 million. So I know, MAGA, because you guys can't count. That's just slightly under $1 billion of our tax dollars that has been spent outfitting that plane. So it was not free. It was gifted from Qatar, and we have now, to date, it's still not ready, spent $934 million making it something Trump wants to fly in.
That he has no business doing on behalf of the United States. He's collecting untold millions for himself and his family through his crypto scheme that he's launched through the White House. He's giving pardons to political allies and donors. He's selling access to the White House, literally selling tickets to events at the White House. And I also believe he's active in a cover-up, as we all know right now, around the Epstein files. And it's beyond the corruption. He's weaponizing the Department of Justice to increase his power. Congress has to know and understand that Donald Trump is, I believe, the most corrupt person ever to serve as president of the United States. The most corrupt person ever to serve. And we need to work together to stop him before it's too late. And that is the goal and the mission of the Oaths. We want to make.
I love this man. Okay, here's the second part of the speech.
What's happening right now on our streets with masked men, in many instances, kidnapping people and putting them in vans and sending them away with no due process, should concern and disgust every single American. Every single American. And for me, and it's not just me, because I know some of you others are also immigrants or come from immigrant families, it's very personal. And it's very hurtful to know that my family, myself, people that I love, it could be any one of us that could be taken, just dependent on where we were, or our immigration status, or what we look like, what color, or what language we speak. So I know we all worry about that future, but we've also got to recommit at this moment to doing the right thing and pushing for a better America and a better future. The oath that the vice president just gave me is very similar to the oath I took when I became a U.S. citizen. And when I became a U.S. citizen, I was in my early 20s. I think most of you know this. My family and I immigrated here. My whole family, we all became U.S. citizens right around the same time. And we fought for the opportunity to take that oath. We weren't born United States citizens. We were born different. We were in another country. And we came here because America was a beacon, a place where us two, a family without any formal education, that was poor back in our own country, could come to the U.S. and build a better life. That has been the promise of our country for so many that come and seek refuge. And so when I think about that oath and me taking the oath to become a citizen, I think about the patriotism that I felt at that moment. And I remind us that immigrants are some of the most patriotic people in this country, because we fought for citizenship. We fought for citizenship. And so I remind us that patriotism is not screaming and yelling America first. Patriotism is not screaming and yelling America first. Real patriotism is loving your country so much that you actually want to help the people in your country. That is real patriotism.
Someone said they hope to see Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia has been in Congress. I just want to clarify. He's been in Congress for years. He just, he was sworn in last night by Kamala Harris as the ranking member of Oversight and Accountability. So in basically 3 short years, because I've watched he was the mayor of Long Beach, California, was elected to Congress, then was on the Oversight and Accountability Committee, the Department of Homeland Security. Basically, they put him on every committee Margarine was on, and he followed her around, tortured her, because, she's a Green and he's a Garcia. So right before she would speak, everything, he would blow up her tweets and shame her. And now, he was nominated as of his freshman class as their favorite. He's brilliant. So he's going to be the ranking member of Oversight and Accountability, which is a huge job in Congress. We spend millions of dollars on these hearings where Republicans obfuscate and lie. And he will now lead the last ranking member, prior to the one that just passed away, and that's why we're getting another one, was Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin's now the ranking member of the big boy committee, the Judiciary Committee. We wanted AOC to have this job, but they wouldn't put her in it, and she just doesn't want it. And she probably could have gotten it, but she didn't want to go back to it after they wouldn't vote for it the first time. The guy who had this job died of throat cancer. That's why people didn't necessarily think he was a great person to have the job, because he wasn't in good health. So now that he's no longer with us, Robert Garcia was sworn in, and I just wanted everyone to hear him because he's brilliant. Thank you for the $5 on Cash App, Patricia. Said good work. I appreciate it. Like the goal of the People's Receipts is to use primary and secondary sources and just debunk as many of Trump's lies as we can, expose corruption, which this is going to make people sick. I've been talking about this for a while, but now it takes a while for people to be like, oh, this has happened. Trump started doing this. People that track people in the government and the stocks they're buying have been talking about this since January. Trump has been quietly buying up bonds, U.S. bonds, and is profiting off the legislation that is passed. This is one of the many ways Trump is profiting off sitting in the White House. It's the most fucked up shit ever. And finally, this week, all of a sudden, the Wall Street Journal, stock market, a bunch of people have started to report on this.
Do you wonder at this early stage in the second term how much Trump is making? Over $3 billion already from that New Yorker journalist's account. And today we have
Trump has made Trump was not a billionaire prior to entering the White House in January 2025. Trump now has $3.4 billion.
Have fresh revelations that Trump is also investing over $100 million in bonds this year. Interestingly, since January, when he took on, of course, this job, the bonds are bundles of debt, and they relate to federal policy. NBC reports Trump began the buying spree right after he was sworn in. Trump began the bond buying spree one day after being sworn in on January 20th. It includes these entities that could be directly impacted by his sweeping agenda. This is a scandal in plain sight. The conflict of interest, because Trump can, of course, make money off this. He can delay or deny certain policies in order to make money. His career, of course, has long tried to monetize his
thing, though. MAGA is so dumb and so uneducated that and I talked about this when it started, when this was first reported on, and I remember so many idiot MAGAs in the comments being like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a woman with a tiny brain. Oh, it turns out I was right turns out every single thing I've said since Trump got in office turns out to be absolutely true. And my brain works just fine, and your brains don't work.
The difference now is he has a day job.
When it comes to great stakes, I've just raised the stakes.
My new game is Trump, the game.
The God Bless the USA Bible. At Trump University, we teach success.
Wait, who said that? Now they act like they don't care. Exactly, Jessica. And now they're like, well, I don't know. I don't care. He's crazy. It's like, you were wrong about everything. Every single thing you were told, you said wasn't true or didn't make sense because you have tiny brains. And even though you have a supercomputer in your pocket that can think for you, you couldn't be bothered to look into a thing anyone was telling you. And it's so true. And now you're watching this shift of MAGA being like, oh, I don't know. We can do whatever he wants. I don't know. I don't like it. It's like, yeah, just say, I don't know I didn't know what I was talking about then. I couldn't do basic math and I couldn't read back then, and I can't do it now. I'm completely incompetent and I'm insecure because it turns out women are smarter than I am on average. That's the truth, and more educated. That's what we need to hear from MAGA men that supported Trump. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I can get it with the Charlie Kirks. If you are directly also grifting off the MAGA cottage industry, if you're profiting off Trump's lies, then okay, you're a liar too and a grifter. That I get. If you're grifting alongside Trump and so you're making money, okay, grift. No one's easier to grift off of than MAGA because they are the dumbest people on literal earth. So if you're like, oh no, I'm not dumb, I'm a grifter. Okay, cool. Grift on, grifty, grifters in. But if you are a person who is an idiot, take out your supercomputer you're watching this on and start looking into some things.
That's what it's all about. That's the real deal. That's the real deal.
Today we're here to introduce Trump Mobile.
We are announcing the launch of Trump Coins, a true symbol of American greatness.
Who could have seen this coming? The fact is, the presidency, because of its power, is not weighed down by some of the rules and conflict requirements that members of Congress or even the cabinet have. So Trump has abused that. In the long run, the question for the voters, even if he doesn't face another election, the voters who want to hold his party accountable or his agenda in the next midterms is, does this serve you?
Like I said, if you're profiting off the MAGA cottage industry and MAGA's general stupidity, then yeah, like I could see why you would help Trump lie, even though it's idiotic because you're also being robbed. If you're not a billionaire, if you're not, I don't know. But I mean, I get like the Charlie Kirks and stuff, but if you're just an idiot, like, then who's like, I don't like brown people and someone said they had my money. It's time to take out your supercomputer and start Googling how Trump robbed you. You can do it. You don't even have to be able to do your own math. Someone can explain it. Heather, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Thanks for all you do. Your lives make me feel less alone in this fall to fascism. It's too early in the live to cry. I usually cry at like hour 3. No, thank you. That's what I'm trying to do, is just be like, hey, we're not all alone. And you know what? I love what Gavin Newsom's press office is doing, which someone told me it's a 29-year-old Hispanic woman that's making those posts. Just saying. But I'm like, hey, I've been doing this for months. Like, I mean, this is how we fight these people. Shame the devil. Call out their stupidity. Point out they can't read. Point out they can't do math. Point out they're insecure hypocrites. Point it all out. You guys are idiots. You guys are coming on TikTok to debate. You guys should be ashamed to show your face. Oh, you don't show your... I'm sorry. You guys don't turn your cameras on. But the fact you even use your voice, like, is idiotic. I would spend all of my time learning to read and having AI apps do statistical analysis for me so I could be like, damn, all these people keep saying I've been robbed, like, by Trump. I should probably figure out if he robbed me or not. That's what I would be doing, but that's, I'm not an idiot. Oh, you guys are good. I forgot about this section of the show today. So remember the whole Fox News had to pay almost $780 million because of the defamation suit from Dominion voting machines. And what we know is no voting machines have ever been broken into, and their cyber elections are completely secure in the United States. Well, the Smartmatic defamation case is going on right now, and you tell me if I've already talked about all this stuff, because a lot of this was in the Dominion voting machine case files that I read to you guys, but just, this is what I mean when I say, like, there are people who are profiting off Trump's grift, off the MAGA cottage industry grift. Like, these are the people.
Pirro openly boasted about...
Sorry, that's Boxo Wine, Janine Pirro from Fox News, who's now been sworn in and is in charge of the DC DOJ office. Remember when I told you that the whole reason she lied for Trump and made up all these lies and defamed Smartmatic and Dominion was so her husband could get a pardon? Does anyone remember how I'm always yelling, like, Boxo Wine, Janine did all this because her husband's a tax evading fraudster? Yeah. Turns out all this is coming out in the Smartmatic defamation case.
Efforts for President Trump, texting RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel, quote, I work so hard for the party across the country. I'm the #1 watched show on all news cable all weekend. I work so hard for the president and party, end quote. On December 5th, 2020, Jesse Waters texted Greg Gutfeld, think about how incredible our ratings would be if Fox went all in on, all caps, stop the steal.
They're planning to profit because they have stock in Fox News Corp. They're planning to profit off lying for Donald Trump.
Filings even show dissent among the Fox hosts over the truth. On November 5th, 2020, Fox executive
to do that.
Pirro openly boasted.
Let's not listen to that all again. Here we go.
Dissent among the Fox hosts over the truth. On November 5th, 2020, Fox executive Jay Wallace was made aware by Bret Baier via text that Maria Bartiromo tweeted false claims about vote dumps in favor of Joe Biden. Bret Baier told this executive Wallace, quote, "None of that is true as far as we can tell. We need to fact check this crap," end quote. Pirro openly.
Many times have I told you guys that Bret Baier is a real journalist if he wants to be, but he also folds like a lawn chair and lies for Trump all the time. And I show you, like, he'll go after one person in an interview and then throw Trump softballs and allow Trump to pathologically lie. This is the proof. Bret Baier knows the difference between a truth and a lie. So when I say that, this is what I mean. Understand, this is how dumb MAGA is. They're like, yeah, Fox News telling the truth. No, they're profiting. They have stock in grifting and lying to you. They know. And you're the idiot. The people that show up in these comments and are like, you got Trump derangement syndrome. No, you just can't read. You can't read. You don't know what a primary source is. Some of us can read court documents. And we know the people you trust to tell you the truth. This is why the Dominion lawsuit was settled, because so much of this started coming out that they're like, summary judgment, stop it now. Fox News will go bankrupt if the truth comes out. We can't go to trial. This is what. So Smart Mac, they're leaking this stuff now because they want a summary judgment. They want the money.
Pirro's hard work for the president after the 2020 election, including on air, had a not-so-secret agenda, getting her ex-husband a pardon. Pirro's ex-husband was convicted of conspiracy to commit tax evasion and tax fraud. During President Trump's first term, her ex-husband sought a pardon. Pirro worked behind the scenes to help his efforts. She contacted Giuliani and others in President Trump's circle about the pardon. When her ex-husband initially was not included on the pardon list, Pirro exploded, "Do not call me. F him. I don't care about anyone else." Her outburst stemmed from the expectation that President Trump would pardon her husband. Eventually, President Trump did. Pirro had earned it.
Are you getting it now? Is it all becoming clear to you now? You guys are it, MAGA. Your brains don't work so good. But you could learn the difference between secondary sources and primary sources. And all of this is available on the supercomputer that you use to just spread idiocy and lies online. And you could figure it out. How many times have I described on this live that Jeanine Pirro is a grifter who was lying for Trump so her husband or ex, and now ex-husband Albert, could get a pardon? I mean, I told you it's all in court documents, not you being lied to. And that's the best part. At that life, they're like, MSNBC is a bunch of lies. No, actually, MSNBC is just giving you primary sources and basically reading them to you. You guys are just too dumb to know the difference. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I put this clip of South Park in here of Trump and Tim Cook because I thought it was funny. Well, I mean, this is truth. This is the new tech oligarchy, right? Like, this is the reality of where we're at now.
You have so many great ideas. Your leadership is truly beyond anything we have ever had in this country. And you do not have a small penis. Ah, thanks, gang. On behalf of the state of Florida, I'd like to give you this gift, a silver-plated space shuttle.
Next! Mr. President, your ideas for the tech industry are so innovative, and you definitely do not have a small penis.
Ah, thanks, yeah.
Please accept this gift on behalf of Apple. Next! Mr. President, your ideas incredible. You do not have small penis.
You have so many great ideas.
I mean, is that that's what I'm watching every day in the White House? That's pretty much is this not what everyone else is watching every day? That's pretty much what I think we're all watching. Jen, your account got banana. Thank you for the $20 on Venmo. I'm starting over with Jen 2.0. Jen, say hello in the comments so I can follow you. I'm still mad at TikTok, so I haven't restarted subs yet. Love you, lady. Where are you, Jen, in the comments? Say hi, and then I'll follow you. It's hard. Okay, I'm so sorry that happened, but hopefully you... Oh, there you are. I didn't notice the 2.0. Maybe you'll get your account back, though, because I have lost my account and got it back like 4 months later. So just never say never. Everyone, here, can I pin? Oh, God, I'm so bad at this. Okay. Everyone follow Jen's second account. She's amazing. But yeah, you might be able to get it back later down the road. You never know, because my account was banned for 4 months once, and then one day it just reappeared. So never say never. Everyone follow Jen, because nobody deserved to be deleted for telling the truth. But I think that's the future we're all moving towards. I'm laughing so I don't cry. I'm not laughing about this situation. This was Trump yesterday. Okay, because I'm going to get into some Gavin Newsom stuff because I just find this hilarious. I just want everyone to point out that all that is happening is a 29-year-old Hispanic woman is running Gavin Newsom's Twitter account and just mocking Trump. Just so everything Trump has done or is doing, just mocking him, right? And the reaction from the right is hilarious. They're like, why is Gavin Newsom bullying everyone? I thought you guys loved bullying. This is the perfect example, though. Like, if you've ever been in an abusive relationship with an insecure white male, I'm telling you, they will abuse you every day, every minute of every day, and or cheat on you every minute of every day. You do something back to them, and they will be like, I've been shot in the chest. Like, how could you hurt me? They are the most insecure people on earth. Like, truly. Like, bullies are so insecure. They will bully and bully and bully, and someone does something back to them, and they're like, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to play this game anymore. Please stop. It hurts. Like, I need this game to stop. Oh, and while this is fresh in my mind, if anyone was watching the People's Receipts on Monday, I was making some incendiary comments about my ex, who was a professional baseball player, and it turns out the reason he was texting me during the live and wanted to watch, he did end up apologizing to me for like 4 hours after the live on Monday. So if it seemed like I was being very mean, or Joanna was just defending me because she knows some of the shit he did to me. So he did apologize, though, and actually take some accountability for the horrific things he did in the past. So I guess I don't take it back. It all happened, but just saying. Another example of an insecure person. It only took 15 years to get some accountability. But anyway, so Trump's truthing last night about Gavin Newsom and saying that he can't stand it. Oh, you guys are going to love this. I think I have one more later if we get to it of the FAFOs or just white women that support Trump. Like, are they okay? The answer is no.
You know how I know Donald Trump is winning the culture war?
Oh, please, do tell.
Because there are memes going around like this by Gavin Newsom supporters.
Hilarious.
Anytime you are not able to actually debate the issues, then you go to making fun of people.
I don't know what I said. Now, Sleepy Joe. Crazy Bernie. Little Marco. Ron DeSanctimonious. Crooked Hillary.
See it time and time again.
Yeah, literally any time that he speaks.
The funny thing is Gavin Newsom brought this on himself by mimicking all of Trump's tweets.
Why do you think he's doing that?
Whether it be in capitalization or calling out Caroline Leavitt, saying that she's Caroline Leavitt. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this man burned.
I make that up when everyone else was calling her KKK Caroline. I have called her Caroline Leavitt from day one. I just want to say that.
Down an entire city in his state.
Whoa. Gavin Newsom burned down a whole city in California? Wow, breaking news, everybody. You heard it here first.
But by all means, continue the charade.
Yes, please do.
Please do, because where the smug Californians think that this is just hilarious.
Hilarious.
The rest of the country is sitting here going, how sad.
Nah, it's really just MAGA, Fox News, Newsmax, the typical.
How sad that it has come to this, that you feel the need to not actually fix your state.
I am willing to bet that California is probably paying the bills for the state that you live in.
But you feel the need to make fun of the person who's in power.
If you've got issues with what I'm putting out, you sure as hell should have concerns about what he's putting out as president.
This same smugness is what's going to win J.D. Vance the presidency in 2028.
So many feelings. Someone said she keeps walking it to the point of missing it. What do you mean? The point is a bus that has literally ran her over, is backing over her lifeless body, running over her again as she can. Hey, just raise your hand and say, I'm a fucking idiot. I don't. Yeah, let me help you, white women that support Donald Trump. We tried to debate you. We tried to use math. We gave you spreadsheets and facts, but you're too dumb to understand those. So the weirdest thing is, that's why I started getting mean. I used to just say facts to people and no one would listen. So then I had to be like, okay, I was raised by a narcissist. This is how my mother talks to people. Maybe when I speak to them like this, they will listen. We tried just explaining to you with numbers and facts that you were an idiot, but you were too idiotic to pick that up. So now we didn't come up with this. We are doing what Donald Trump does, what you guys think is funny to you, and for some reason, it's no longer funny. You were an idiot when we tried to approach you with facts. You were an idiot when we tried to approach you with the numbers, and you are an idiot now. Period. You have been an idiot, will continue to be an idiot. That's it. I mean, I hope you don't remain this dumb for your sake and your children's sake, but that's the reality of where we are now. Like, you could not be any less stupid. You are out here making videos defending a guy who home invaded you. Like, please. And then telling us, take out your supercomputer, download an AI app, and ask for a statistical analysis of how the big, beautiful bill has robbed you. Just try it. See what happens.
More sophisticated now than
you can't be this dumb. I refuse to believe that white women supporting Trump are this dumb. I refuse. You cannot be. You are so privileged. Think about all the privilege and how dumb you guys turned out to be. It cannot be the case that you are this dumb. Oh, and I just want to give you an idea of what we're going to hear, because I love Harrington and how he analyzes numbers. So that MAGA women, you're out. Has this actually been working for Newsom? So we're talking about what Newsom's been doing with his account, which is actually a 29-year-old Hispanic woman doing it, but is it working for him? And this is Harry Enton from CNN talking to Laura Coates and analyzing the numbers of, is this working or is it not working? Yeah. Oh, it's working. Oh, it's working. It's working.
Enton, who joins us now. This is a lot, the AI images, but you know what? It reminds me, it also happened as well. The key question, has this actually been working for Newsom?
Yeah, I think it absolutely has been working in terms of generating attention, which is what he's trying to do, right? I mean, take a look here. Let's take a look right at the @GovPress office followers on X. That's, of course, where you get those sort of the account where Newsom posts those Trump-style mocking types of tweets. Get this. That account, get this. Up 450% in terms of the number of followers since mid-June. And it's not just on Twitter, X, where Newsom is gaining. Even on TikTok and Instagram, his followers are up over 1 million since January alone. My goodness gracious. And more than that, Laura, more than that, what about Google? What about those Google searches for him? Get this, daily Google searches for Gavin Newsom up like a rocket. What are we talking about? Since June 1, up 1,300%. Compared to August 1st, look at that, up 500%. So the bottom line is, in politics, especially if you're thinking of entering in 2028, it's all about generating attention. And so far, Gavin Newsom has done a good job at generating attention.
The Democrats want it.
Do Democrats want it? Okay. Do Democrats want it? This, I think, is the trend line that I think says it all. Democrats want their leaders to what? Try to stop the GOP or work with the GOP? You go back to 2017. You see here, work with the GOP took the cake at 74% compared to just 23% who said to try and stop the GOP. But now I'm going to come over to your side of the screen, Laura. Look at 2025. I'm coming as close as I can. 57% say they want the Democratic leaders to try and stop the GOP compared to just 42% who say they want them to work with the GOP. That is a major shift. What are we talking about here? Some quick math up here is 34% rise in terms of the percentage of Democrats who want their leaders to try and stop the GOP. So no wonder Gavin Newsom, he's looking at this polling. He's saying, I can generate attention. This is where the Democratic base is. And right now he seems to be following the Democratic base.
Why? For 2028?
For 2028. That is exactly why. And I think the question is it working? Is it working? Well, let's take a look at the betting markets. I think this gives away so much of it. Okay, the chance of being the 2028.
You know, like the betting markets, scarily, are usually right. Like when you look at people that are willing to risk money on this stuff, actually the betting markets usually are correct when they bet on politics.
Democratic nominee, according to the prediction markets. Look at where we were on June 1st. We basically had a clown car for first. Newsom, AOC, Buttigieg, 11%, 10%, 8%. But look at where we are now. Look at this. Look who's jumped up all the way up to 24% chance, about a 1 in 4 chance of getting the nomination. Gavin Newsom. AOC staying pretty steady at 13%. And then, of course, we have Pete Buttigieg, who has stayed absolutely steady at 8%. So at least at this particular point, the prediction markets are saying, yes, this strategy is paying off. Of course, the key question is, will this actually work when you're trying to actually, votes are being cast and counted?
Will, and like I say, I've said this for months, and I'm telling you, I was raised by a malignant narcissist much smarter than Trump. They don't stop unless you stop them. And the way you stop them is by going straight at them, right? Like whatever they're doing, just times it by 1,000 and do it back to them. And I promise you, they will fold like a lawn chair. They don't like it. But what we have to understand, I get it. Like for a long time, Democrats were like, we're the high road. We're taking the high road. No, we're going straight to hell. We are going to the depths of hell. I've been there for a while. It's great. Trust me, ask my mother what I've done to her. I mean, you have to go to the depths of hell to stop a malignant narcissist. But it's great down there, and you'll see me. I'm all the way down there hanging out. You guys are going to love it.
And look at Gavin Newsom. He tried to do this, was it a radio show or podcast, whatever he tried to do. Now he's busy trolling on social media, and it's cringe, it's falling flat. I'm sure they'll come after me now, who cares? Because Donald Trump is one of one. Only he can do what he's done with social media, with podcasts, in the way he's done it. 900 rallies and counting. The thing that he does that we all miss and don't talk enough about is he just works harder than everyone else. And look at Gavin Newsom.
Again, that's not true mathematically. That's just like, I love watching them be like, oh, just stop. It's not working. Oh, it's working, or you wouldn't be talking about it, you liars. Like, it's working. It's killing them inside.
Little Marco, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. I call her Crooked Hillary.
Trump built his political brand on schoolyard taunts, and now Newsom's social media feed is full of references to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Vice President J.D. Just Dance Vance, House Speaker Little Man Johnson, while calling Trump Little Hands, Donnie J., the criminal president, and Donald Taco Trump for Trump always chickens out. He's even taken Trump's all-caps style and catchphrase, "Thank you for your attention to this matter."
Stop it with the Twitter thing.
Conservative media, which has long cheered Trump trolling the left, is coming unspooled over Newsom ridiculing the right.
If I were his wife, I would say, "What? You are making a fool of yourself. Stop it. Do not let your staff tweet. And if you're doing it yourself, put the phone away and start over."
Newsom's response, they still don't get it.
If you've got issues with what I'm putting out, you sure as hell should have concerns about what he's putting out as president.
Little Marco, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. I call her Crooked.
And that Dana Perino, hold on, I think I have that. Like him, the last black blonde woman that was just talking, that's Dana Perino, who drives me absolutely insane. Let me find, I think I have it in the presentation I did do on Wednesday. Him screaming about Dana Perino, or I have it somewhere. Hold on, let me scroll up and find it, because trashing Dana Perino is always hilarious. She's like, you need to stop it. It's like, really? I think it's working great. Oh, here we go. Dana Ding Dong Perino. Wait, hold on. Let me find her face and put it up here real quick. Where did she go? There she is. Hello, weirdo. That's Dana Perino. Dana Ding Dong Perino, never heard of her until today, is melting down because of me, Gavin C. Newsom. Fox hates that I am America's most favorite governor, ratings king, saving America, while Trump can't even conquer the big stars on Air Force One anymore. Trump has lost his step, and Fox is losing it because when I type, America now wins. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, I'd be screaming for it to stop too, Dana. Keep your mouth shut, ding dong. Like, you've been labeled. Why? MAGA, isn't this fun? This isn't fun anymore? It's not fun? It's not fun? And it hasn't been said yet, but should we call Charlie Kirk horse teeth? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I thought you guys love to make fun of people's appearances and make up lies about them and say hurtful things. It's super strange how all of a sudden you guys aren't having fun anymore. I thought we were having a great time. I'm having a great time. It's just super weird. Kira, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. TikTok won't let me send subs today. You get Venmo. Oh, Lush and I hate it. My favorite. Thank you. My favorite name on TikTok. And this is Hannity, bless his heart. I love watching Fox try to be like, ew, it's so gross. Is it gross? Should Trump stop insulting people and making up lies? Oh, he shouldn't? Like, it's hilarious. This is hilarious.
Now, currently, he and a social media team, they are busy trying to mock President Trump on X by posting messages in all caps. He's trying to pretend to be Donald Trump. Gavin is also attacking Fox News hosts. He's trying to bait conservatives into social media fights. He's actually referred to our own Tommy Laren's account as Yelp for toilets. Gee, very clever and funny.
Sorry. Why would you say that, Hannity? It makes me think Hannity doesn't like Tommy Laren. You know what I mean? Why would you say that one? Like, I think Hannity hates her because that's like, why of all the things you could have said that he said, you just pointed that out. Like, that's mean.
She'll join us in a moment to respond.
She'll join us. It's being called Yelp for toilets. There's no response. Slink away in shame. There's no response to being called Yelp for toilets. Oh my gosh. And like, I'm not always a Charlemagne the God fan. I like him when he's on Catfish being a guest host. But like, listen, so he did a piece on what Gavin Newsom is up to, and I was like, nailed it. Like, I was like, this is the best 4 minutes. Like, someone, I think in the beginning people were like, it's nice to hear some things that aren't so depressing. Like, this will just let it wash over you. Let's all tap the screen. Let's get to 350K. Like, I just feel like finally now everyone gets why I'm insulting people. You see? See, it's a good idea.
Gavin Newsom, for the past week and some change, has been doing what I've wanted a Democrat to do for a long time. Okay, see, Michelle Obama once said, when they go low, we go high. And your Uncle Charlotte has never agreed with that. Okay, when they go low, either you ignore them and mind your business, stay doing the work, or when they go low, you go to hell. Okay, and Gavin Newsom over the last week and a half has been going to hell with the Trump administration. Not even really going to hell, just matching energy, and I like it.
Since Donald Trump returned to office, his feud with California Governor Gavin Newsom has intensified from social media through the courts. Today, Newsom, like a true internet troll, took directly to social media and started speaking Trump's language. He blasted out the following in Trumpian all caps. When Speaker Little Man Johnson is standing in the unemployment line, he can thank Donald Taco J. Trump. Trump missed a simple deadline, something he has often done with his many failed businesses. Now California will fire him with new, more beautiful maps. Highly anticipated, historic press conference with your favorite Governor Gavin Christopher Newsom. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Somebody has been reading the 48 Laws of Power, okay? Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. And people like Dana Perino on Fox are absolutely infuriated. Would you like to hear what she had to say about Gavin's tweets? Let's listen.
For the last week, Gavin Newsom, why am I giving him advice? You have to stop it with the Twitter thing. I don't know where his wife is. If I were his wife, I would say, "What? You are making a fool of yourself. Stop it. Do not let your staff tweet. And if you're doing it yourself, put the phone away."
Which wife? His first wife became Don Jr.'s sloppy seconds. And once Don Jr., after 7 years, refused to marry her, was cheating on her with another socialite and got caught. And they mailed her to Greece and made her the ambassador. Or is it Italy? It's Italy or Greece. So that she won't drop a dime on the Trump family and all their corruption. But I'm sure you're talking about his second wife. But I'm just Greece. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Just making sure. It's hard to know, Dana, which wife you're talking about. Yeehaw. Thank you for the hat.
Start over. And if he's got a big job as governor of California, but if he wants an even bigger job, he has to be a little bit more serious.
Dana, have you ever told the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America to stop? Have you ever told the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America that they need to be more serious? Have you ever asked where the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America's wife, First Lady Melania Trump, is? You do realize Governor Gavin Newsom is biting.
Truly. Did you hear all that? Dana, I have never heard you once to tell Trump to stop. Hannity, whenever you wipe your mouth and get off your knees, you let me know when it was you held Trump publicly accountable. What the are any of you talking about? Where is Melania? The only person we've seen Melania make out with in the last 5 years was Gavin Newsom. That's it. And no one's asking why Melania would rather die than touch her husband until some of you grow a pair and hold your Lord and Savior, men shouldn't wear makeup, but I have a full face on every day, Donald Trump accountable. Please don't speak any more out loud.
Donald Trump's whole flow, word for word, bar for bar. It is a deliberate imitation of Donald Trump's nut-ass social media style, Okay, Fox News, you would be better off saying it's time for all of this type of foolishness to stop. You would be better off saying we really don't like it from President Trump, and this isn't something to be imitated. But to act like it's cool when Trump do it, but it's a problem when Gavin does it? Knock it off. Okay, the hypocrisy is disgusting. We've been watching President Trump have his way for almost a decade now. Okay, Gavin Newsom gives you a week of your own medicine and y'all become these fragile ass snowflakes. I love it. Now, Gavin Newsom has explained why he's tweeting exactly like Donald Trump. Let's listen.
What's going on with those posts on X that are clearly trolling the president? What? Can you just talk about that? Is that like a strategy?
I hope it's a wake-up call to the President of the United States. I'm sort of following his example. If you've got issues with what I'm putting out, you sure as hell should have concerns about what he's putting out as president. So to the extent it's gotten some attention, I'm pleased. But I think the deeper question is, how have we allowed the normalization of his tweets through social posts over the course of the last many years to go without similar scrutiny and notice?
It's just that.
Ever held accountable one time. Now, can we just go back? Because, I mean, not to be petty, but let's just remember this sad-ass woman's daring to just make this post. I'd be able to listen.
You know how I know Donald Trump is winning the culture war?
Oh, please, do tell.
Because there are memes going around like this by Gavin Newsom supporters.
Hilarious.
Anytime you are not able to actually debate the issues, then you go to making fun of people.
I don't know what I said. Now, Sleepy Joe. Crazy birdie.
Like the hypocrisy, but also the idiocy. Do you know what I mean? These people, and this is why I'm doing it. You don't like when people are mean? Then tell Trump to stop and I'll stop. I'll stop. And I'm not lying. I am factually pointing out that you are all idiots. MAGA, you are idiots. You are being robbed by a person you are on your knees for and giving Andrew Jacksons to. And whenever you're tired of being publicly humiliated, tell Trump to stop, and then we'll stop pointing out how this is not just Trump's a liar. Like, you guys are actually an embarrassment to our country. But if you would like to stop being loudly humiliated, I think that you should tell your Lord and Savior to stop. And when you try to do that, I think what you will find is he doesn't give a mother about you. And maybe that will help you learn a lesson. Can I just show you hot kid Gavin Newsom? Can we just take a moment for, I don't know, how old do we think he is in this picture? This is Gavin Newsom. Like, just saying. Someone else posted this. I was like, okay, Gavin, we see you. There you are. I was going to say 19. Someone said 18. I was like, this is like 19-year-old Gavin Newsom vibes. Okay. But anyways, I don't even know why this was. Oh, this is Brian Bias. That's why. Because now he's like, I love Gavin Newsom. We can all love. Isn't it nice that we don't have to hate Gavin anymore?
CHRISTUHPHUH. Christopher, as in Gavin Christopher Newsom, is doing more than just being a former cute little twink in his 20s. You know, and I could joke with Gavin like that because Gavin is cool. I mean, literally, the MAGA trolls decided to create an AI photo of him and called him the here. And over here, Gavin Newsom posted, honored. Thank you for your attention to this matter. By the way, I think it's a great time to remind you all that there's nothing a racist hates more than black people and people of color than a white person who's fighting for the rights of black people and people of color. By the way, let me also mention this. Love him or hate him, you can still take a masterclass of PR strategy from him. This is the best PR strategy to take on in this modern political era. Your political opponents are going to call you fucking everything under the sun. Lean into that shit, brush it off, and stay on message. Exactly what Gavin Newsom is doing right now. He's not being distracted by any bullshit. He is focused on redistricting California, all of its 52 congressional districts, and removing 5 GOP House seats. The important thing about this is that this would wipe out the Republicans' power. Currently, the party breakdown in the House of Representatives is 219 Republicans and 212 Democrats. Republicans control that motherfucker because they have the majority. When Gavin Newsom redistricts California and Republicans lose 5 seats, Democrats will gain them. That would bring Democrats up to 217 and Republicans down to 214. Mind you, we had 3 Democrats who died in office, and if those seats get filled and there's no change in the party, then Republicans would have 215 and Democrats would have 220. It would essentially cripple Republicans, stop all of their power, and immediately make Donald Trump a lame duck president. Here's the thing, we can expand the 220 margin easily. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is saying that she's going to start playing fire with fire, but we have to stop pledging shit and start doing shit.
Not to get involved in it, not to rain on its parade, but I just want to be clear, like, what we can feasibly do for the midterms is California and Illinois. New York probably can get involved in 2028, the next presidential election, because it has to do with their constitution and a rewrite for the actual constitution. So I just want to set like expectations. New York probably can't get involved for the midterms, but California and Illinois, which we can very clearly gerrymander, we can beat. But yeah, like, and I'm trying to think. I think I have a couple articles. If you want to read more about that, I think I put a couple articles in here where you can. It has to do with the New York State Constitution and the independent commissions that draw the maps and stuff, and what would need to happen. Not to say it won't happen, but how quickly it can happen is the question. But I mean, oopsies. None of that means that we won't have more. We can have more seats just from California. Like, well, actually, oh wait, I need to remember where this clip is and find it. I'm going to look at my presentation.
Funny to hear Republicans who support Trump saying put away the phone and don't tweet. Look, there's a lot about the prominent things he's doing, more subtle things. If you notice when he did the press conference, it was a red sign, Election Rigging Response Act, right? Very clear this was a response to what was happening in Texas. He is designing the legislation so that it goes back to an independent commission in 2030. He's sending a very clear message. This is not something that he instigated, that he wanted to do, but he's doing it for the good of the country and to fight back against the gerrymandering we're seeing. I think it's pretty funny, and you're seeing the response from Republicans.
Yeah, the election. So just understand, there was no asking the people of Texas, do you want to gerrymander the maps and disenfranchise black and brown people in this state legally? No one, they didn't take a vote. Gavin Newsom's going to take a vote, and then in this bill, they're going, the election response, or the Election Rigging Response Act, sorry, ERRA. Basically, it just says, hey, we're just doing this in response to Trump rigging the election, the mid-2026 midterms and the 2028 presidential election. And once those are over, we'll just stay on our normal census time. Like, this is not forever. It is just a response to Donald Trump being an effing creep, which no one has ever. I'm going to get a copyright violation for this, but I'm going to play it anyways because, again, just a quick homage, and this is on Gavin Newsom's page. This is the 29-year-old Hispanic woman who's running Gavin Newsom's press office page on X. And she was just, when everyone started flooding that page and being like, you're a bully, you're horrible. This is what she posted. And I just could die watching it over and over. Sorry, but wrong too soon, soon forgotten should be the actual theme for the Republican Party. Like, should this be the conservative wrong too soon and soon forgotten? That's MAGA. This is you. We will put this on your tombstones. Wrong too soon. And we also can't remember you because you were so boring and so dumb that we forgot you as the minute you went away. That is so true. Oh, there was that data thing. And I was just I love these old man yells at cloud. All of these. If you haven't seen any of these or gone to the Governor Newsom press office page, 10 of 10. Forget the southern border. The strongest wall Trump's ever built is his bronzer line. I love I could seriously hang out on this page forever. And Newsom, which some people, I think this was being streamed on TikTok maybe yesterday, but Newsom was talking to like Juliana, Harry, Aaron Parnas about, and I just clipped a couple of things from it.
No, I mean, even poor Kid Rock. These guys, they've become a little precious, haven't they? These folks at Fox. They're like, oh, this is so unbecoming of a governor. Oh. And meanwhile, they sit there reading his tweets every single day. Are they that tonally out of touch? I mean, it's jaw-dropping how precious and concerned New York Post has gotten all of a sudden. How the Wall Street Journal head board is like, oh, no, we can't have this. I mean, what? I hope we're exposing it all. I hope we're exposing it all, and I hope we're entertaining some people. No, I mean, even poor Kid Rock.
It's true. As soon as you all tell Trump to stop, then we'll tell Gavin Newsom to stop. And even then, we're not stopping because you guys will never tell Trump to stop. And if you did, hopefully you'll notice. Sorry, I just got a New York Times update. The lawsuit is working. A judge says Haba has served as U.S. attorney without legal authority. Oh my God. I knew this was going to work. This is the person that charged Bonnie Coleman with a felony, that tried to arrest the mayor of Trenton. Like, ugh. Beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm just reading a headline and it just popped up in my inbox. I'm not going to elaborate. I'll have to read the court documents because it's probably less exciting than we think, but it's nice to know that lawsuit is finally working.
Governor, what do you make of people like Greg Abbott, who has gone on Fox News in recent days and said that California is the problem, not Texas, and that he and other Republicans are going to try to take legal action to strike it down, as Aaron just kind of alluded to in California?
Well, I thought there was some AI. I saw some, honestly, I thought, though, this is obviously fake. I mean, it's delusional. I mean, no situational awareness. I mean, it's shockingly delusional. Look in the mirror, sir. You're the one who initiated this. You coward. You coward. You couldn't stand up to the bully. You couldn't stand up to Donald Trump. You had to kiss his feet. You couldn't stand up for our democracy. Couldn't stand up for principles. You had to do something that's unprecedented, midterm redistricting, knowing he knew this was wrong. In fact, you can go back to some of the early reporting. He was initially hesitant, but he realized his political career was done, over. And that was more important to him than our enduring values, the best of the Roman Republic and Greek democracy, the rule of law, co-equal branches of government, were less important to him than his own political future. Popular sovereignty, less important to him than his own political future. So I don't even know where to get started. I saw some of his comments. They're ludicrous. And I'll remind him what I'll remind everybody. If they don't move, if Republicans stand back, they have an off-ramp. This initiative, our efforts don't go forward. We're doing this only in response to what he's doing. So if he doesn't want us to move forward, he has some capacity to influence that, not just in his own state, but by making the case to other governors in other states that this is not the right thing to do, that we should all stand back, support nationalized, independent redistricting, and we should let voters choose their representatives, not the other way.
Sorry, is this someone that I look like I'm in love? I was opening the court document. Sorry, I think I said Bonnie Coleman. Bonnie Coleman was there, but it was LaMonica McIver who was charged with a felony by Alina Habba. If you're like, who the F is Alina Habba? That was the lawyer that lost Trump's second appeal against Adrian Carroll. She has no experience in criminal law. When she was presiding over that civil case, the judge had to explain to her for hours how to enter an exhibit, how to call a witness. It was the most insane thing I've ever witnessed. And this judge is basically saying that she has no experience in criminal law. She has no business running the DOJ, being the interim head of the DOJ in New Jersey. This is the woman who charged LaMonica McIver with a felony for just conducting oversight over an unauthorized ICE facility in Trenton, New Jersey. Oh, wait, not Trenton. I feel like I'm in Newark, New Jersey, where Ross Baraka was originally arrested. They dropped the charges. Then they charged LaMonica McIver with a felony. Alina Habba did. She's in trouble. And I'm glad because she's a liar. So anyways, let's get back into Trump's trying to cheat his way into winning the midterms. Big win for the great state of Texas, right? Yesterday, they passed these gerrymandered maps, which make me these maps are disgusting. Actually, I didn't find this clip. I think it's important to play this because the math is scary. I didn't find this clip until after I'd made this whole section, but let me find it where someone actually breaks down hey, the math around that is terrifying. Is this it? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. I never heard this is, because before they voted on this and they were holding people hostage and all that stuff, a bunch of people spoke, and I just this was my favorite.
Hard truth. Under this map, white Texans receive one member of Congress for every 445,000 residents. If you're Hispanic, it takes about 1.4 million residents for that same representation. If you are black, it takes 2 million. In this proposal, a Hispanic Texan has 1/3 the political value of a white Texan under this plan, and a black Texan 1/5. It would take 3 Hispanics to equal the representation of 1 white Texan and 5 black Texans to equal the value of 1 white Texan. Under these lines, Texas Hispanics will be the most underrepresented population group in all 50 states. The level of underrepresentation will far exceed what even conservative courts have struck down in Louisiana, Alabama, and just yesterday in Mississippi. Hard truth.
Like the average district in the United States has just over 700,000 constituents. So just to give you an idea, they're saying now so just understand that. I think it's actually between like 730,000 is the average district in America, it's 700,000 as of 2018. So each representative in Congress is ideally representing 700,000 people. So knowing that, listen again to the numbers and they make a lot more sense. So what he's saying is now the average in Arizona, each district is about 700,000 constituents. He's saying white people in Texas, it's 400,000. It's over 1 million for Hispanics. This is how effed up this is.
Hard truth. Under this map, white Texans receive one member of Congress for every 445,000 residents. If you're Hispanic, it takes about 1.4 million residents for that same
Okay, so as of there's on average it's 747,000 per district. So now you get it. Now in Texas, it's one member of Congress for every 440,000 white people and 1-something million for Hispanics.
Representation. If you are black, it takes 2 million.
2 million.
In this proposal, a Hispanic Texan has 1/3 the political value of a white Texan under this plan, and a black.
And like when they say like, oh, the census, like Texas has grown. Yes, Hispanic births. Where has Texas grown? Hispanics in rural areas. Trust me, I've been studying the population growth. This is the most illegal, disgusting. There is no justification other than racism and Jim Crow. This is Jim Crow laws. Diluting the black and Hispanic votes for white supremacy. There's no other mathematical explanation. MAGA, you can't do math, so you're not welcome as part of the conversation because none of your brains work. But if you could do math, then you would understand that that's the reality. I wanted to show this clip of Harry Enton, who does, polling and statistical analysis on CNN, talking about Trump trying to say that the 2020 election was stolen, because it's not just gerrymandering the maps. What happened is they did a poll. They realized we are not going to hold Congress for the midterms, so they need to gerrymander the maps, and that's not going to be enough. So now they're trying to change voting laws, stop mail-in ballots, all these things, so that they can hold on to Congress in 2026. And this is a statistical analysis about how Americans feel about this.
I feel that Donald Trump is full of BS. What are we talking about here? Let's take a look here. Allow anyone to vote earlier by absentee. In 2020, it was about 2/3. You get 65%. Years after years after years that Donald Trump has been complaining about mail-in voting. Where'd the numbers stand in 2024? Basically the same. 60% of voters say that anyone should be allowed to vote either early or by absentee without needing an excuse. And that actually includes, get this, Even 37% of Republicans, you have a substantial portion of Republicans who believe that voters should be back allowed to vote either early or absentee without an excuse. So the bottom line is the American people aren't with Donald Trump. They think he's full of it.
Well, and this gets back to the 2020 election is where the basis of this comes from. And because in the president's false view that it was that this
it's
led
so
to
crazy
him,
it's tough to
that,
get
no,
out.
that this led to him losing the election. That he actually did win the election. So he says, still, regardless, I digress. How do voters feel about the 2020 election now?
Yeah, exactly right. This is all based upon the Fugazi idea that Biden didn't legitimately win the election. But again, voters think that Donald Trump is full of it. Biden's 2020 election was legit. Look at this. In December of 2020, look at that. It was 60%. In December of 2024, again, after Donald Trump has been arguing year after year after year that somehow that the election wasn't legit, which of course everybody who knows what they're talking about disagrees with them on because the election was legit. The voters are with the side of truth in this situation. 63% of them believe that Biden's win was legit, despite the garbage coming out of Donald Trump's mouth.
But what specifically about mail-in voting regarding 2020 and 2024?
Right, exactly. So let's talk about mail-in voting, right? Mail votes counted as the voters intended. Voters who are confident that that was the case. 59% of voters were in fact confident, the clear majority in 2020. And of course, we just had an election in 2024. Look at that. 75% of voters believe that, in fact, the mail votes were counted as intended. And of course, this rise in confidence is due to Republicans going from 19% to 72%. I just think that this whole idea that Donald Trump is trying to push really just doesn't stay with the American people. He should move on to other issues and shouldn't be taking political advice from Vladimir Putin, who I can't remember the last time he won a Democratic election.
That's a good point.
I feel that Donald Trump is full of.
Wow, even for Harry, that's aggressive. And so now, this is about Texas redistricting. I'm going to have to check on my cat real quick because both his paws are sticking under the door and he's screaming. But this is a Representative Ramon Romero. This is just now I'm talking about kind of pivoting to Texas redistricting and what was going on yesterday, which, God, I heard some really good speeches on the Texas House floor. It kind of gave me renewed will to fight.
Chairman Hunter, I'm a little troubled. I've never heard anyone say in this body, and you've certainly been here longer than I have, but for you to say that you're not required to have hearings, I understand that may be a fact, but I don't understand that to be Texan. I don't understand that to be something that we would not welcome opinions of the public. And yet we did hold 3 public hearings. So with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, when you say that this was just you and the lawyers, what would you tell any Texan? Because I believe every person that testified under oath. Is that correct?
That I don't know. I hope they did.
Well, if they registered to testify before any committee in this House, they do have to register under oath that what they say is true and correct. Is that correct?
I follow the House rules like you, but you're asking me a personal question. I don't run the committee. I'm sure Mr. Vasut did everything accurately, but you're asking me beyond my role.
And that's where I'm troubled, Mr. Chairman, is that that someone would come down, affirm that everything that they're going to say is true and correct, and then to hear now you say that they're not required, didn't have to happen, and that you did this with you and your lawyers and you gave them instructions, means to the public, they really don't have any reason to come to this great building that we serve in with so much history because they won't be heard. Chairman Hunter, I'm a little.
There were so many good speeches. If you didn't catch any of this, what was going on in the Texas legislature, this is Nicole Collier. Definitely, this is the woman who was held hostage in the Texas state capitol. My work here is done, but my work here isn't done, but my stay here is. When they finally look at her suitcase, I love it. She had an entire suitcase. Love it. Wait, hold on. I want to find. Oh yeah, no, this is a good one too. But there's so many great clips that came out of the protests from Texas. I could watch this all day long.
Your job. You're enabling fascism and Nazis. They're holding a single woman alone. That's a female abuse going on in there. What's wrong with you?
Do you want to say anything to anybody?
Fight for democracy. Y'all need to stand up for democracy because we're losing it fast.
You guys are pussies.
Thanks to all the Democrats that stood up.
I am so excited y'all are here. We were just over there on the boring side, arguing a bill that probably has no chance of passage, thank the Lord.
Kind of, I guess if I had showed you this yesterday before the vote, it would have meant more. This is from Tuesday night. This is just, she's like, oh, this is when Nicole was hostage inside the building and they were like, here's who you need to call to get her out. So it's kind of less interesting. Also, someone told me not to play phone numbers on TikTok because sometimes you can get banned for it. But that was from when they had her hostage inside the building and people were like trying to get her out and being arrested. This and a bunch of different people spoke, but this is one of my favorites. I want to make sure I get it right. This is an East Texas farmer and retired fireman who was speaking.
Texas farmer and a retired fireman. The Texas Republican Party is corrupt to the core. Its spineless devotion to Donald Trump is on full display, with Greg Abbott being the prize pony. This blind loyalty to MAGA has brought to the people of Texas has trampled freedoms, liberties, and rights. Common decency and dignity that Texas used to stand for is gone. Replaced with cruelty and division and a way of governance not for the people, but at the behest of only the ultra-rich and the powerful. We are here today to testify against the naked power grab ordered by Trump himself. This redistricting scheme will disenfranchise hardworking Black and Latino communities that deserve to be heard, and dilute the remaining Democratic vote with Republican ones. If you are a Texas Republican, this makes you nervous. Change is coming. Hardworking Texans feel it. Democrats feel it. And so do Republicans who are desperate to rig the system one more time to hold on to power. I'm just a common, hardworking Texan who cares about his family and the legacy I will leave them. But I bring forth a message from the people of Texas. Along with change, accountability is coming for Greg Abbott and Texan Republicans. People of Texas have weighed and measured your 30 years of governance, and it is found to be lacking. Misfeasance and nonfeasance is going to come home to roost. It doesn't matter what maps you draw or how corrupt your reasoning is to justify it. So do your worst, because that's what you're best at. Texas farmer and a retired fireman.
I don't know if I was raised evangelical. He was in there quoting the Old Testament. You've been weighed, measured, and found wanting. Like, I wonder if he knew what he was quoting. Like, that was my favorite part. Like, there you go. See, MAGA? This guy can read. Why can't any of you read? So strange. And I said I had a couple articles. These are, if you want to read more, I suggest following the Texas Tribune for information that is not a pack of lies from the mouth of Ken Paxton. If you're looking for Texas news and to follow what's going on in the Texas state legislature, do follow the Texas Tribune. And this kind of, I'm not going to go through and read this whole article and like dig into it, but 10 of 10 recommend this article. And then hold on. Sorry, I'm just going to flip through it because I literally did screenshot. And then if you want to just look at, I put this for next steps, but obviously there's this is an article that describes, okay, now the next is the vote in Texas. The vote in California for that bill, and other southern states that are looking to redistrict possibly, or what might happen in Illinois. Or like I said, that probably New York won't redistrict until 2028 because of their own constitution. Both of these articles would cover that information if you're interested. But I think, Illinois and California alone dwarf the populations of any other state. That's all we truly need. We may just need California, just to be clear. It's probably not a thing. And furthermore, if these opinion polls, like the Pew Research poll that came out this week, if it doesn't even matter how you redistrict. If independents hate Trump as much as it seems they do, then yeah, Republicans are in trouble, period. But understand, this is why we need to, Jasmine Crockett's district is one of the ones that have been gerrymandered within an inch of its life. So we need to overcome this. But it's hard for me to believe she can't win even in a gerrymandered district. If I can't imagine a world where people want this. Yeehaw! Thank you for the hat. I appreciate it so much. Let's tap the screen and get to 350K. This is, God, I love Katie Fang. The best thing that ever happened. I was so sad when they got rid of her on MSNBC, but then now she's on Midas Touch. And she was talking about the Texas state representatives and the Texas gerrymandering yesterday.
These Texas state representatives, when they broke quorum and they left the state, they were doing their jobs as Texas state representatives. They were representing their constituents' best interests. And just because the Republicans didn't like what they did doesn't mean that they did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that they abandoned their offices. It doesn't mean that they vacated their roles as representatives. They were, in fact, doing a better job than the Republicans did. Why? Because the Republicans are only doing in Texas what Donald Trump is telling them to do. They're not thinking independently. They didn't put their big boy panties on and decide what they should do, which is best for their people. They're just doing whatever the hell Donald Trump tells them to do. They are no better than just sheer lackeys and lapdogs. So we must continue to show support for Nicole Collier, Jean Wu, Ramon Romero, Mihaela Plesha. The list goes on and on. These Texas
was the guy, Ramon Romero was the guy I heard. Oh my gosh. And this is one of my favorite representatives in Congress, which I just 10 of 10. If you want, this woman is one of the most experienced, most intelligent public servants we have in Congress. She's brilliant. She represents New Mexico, not Texas, but she made this video and was explaining this is one of the best videos to explain what's going on in Texas. Melanie Stansbury, here, it's at @rep_Stansbury on X. I think it's similar across the internet, but definitely follow her. And she made so many great points in this video that I was like, I guess I'm just going to record the entire thing.
Hey everyone. Well, I am here in Old Town in downtown Albuquerque, and I thought I'd stop and give you all an update on what is going on nationally with this redistricting fight and what is going on with the current deployment of National Guard and occupation of Washington, D.C. Lots going on in the world. I want to talk about its implications for the 2026 election, what this is all about, and how it affects our rights and our democracy. So let's get started. First of all, many of you have probably heard that just a short while ago, the Texas House just passed highly gerrymandered maps, and these maps are now being sent to the state Senate, where they are expected to pass in the Texas legislature tomorrow. All of this is part of a highly orchestrated effort by the GOP to help Donald Trump try to rig the 2026 election. Now, how did we get here? Over the last 7.5 months, you all have watched as the GOP has pushed this highly unpopular domestic policy agenda, including the big ugly bill, which ultimately will take away millions of Americans' access to health care, food assistance, educational assistance, all in the name of giving permanent tax breaks to billionaires on the backs of the American people by costing the American people $4 trillion in deficit spending. Hugely unpopular all across the United States. And shortly after this bill was signed into law on July 4th, they did national polling, and it was very clear that the American people did not ask for this. This was not a high demand set of policy proposals. In fact, highly unpopular with the American people. This is not what people asked for. And so it was very clear based on that polling that they were going to lose the 2026 elections. And so Donald Trump literally asked the governor of Texas and other states to find him 5 more seats so that they could hold on to power in the...
Sound familiar? Remember when Trump called up the governor of Georgia and said, find me 11,000 votes? This is something Trump does. It's just in Georgia, they were like, no, that's illegal. And Greg Abbott's like, yeah, I'm as corrupt could be. I would love to hold a black woman hostage on the House floor while we force her to hold a quorum so that we can do what's definitely not good for the people of Texas or any American. Like, he did it again in front of all of us.
2026 midterm elections in the House of Representatives. So, in the coming weeks, the Texas state legislature and governor drew these maps that would draw 5 current sitting Democratic members of the House out of their congressional districts. These are maps that clearly violate the Voting Rights Act and crack and pack these districts. The Texas state Dems left the state in a standoff to hold off on providing a quorum. They returned, and unfortunately today the Texas State House passed the legislation. We are anticipating that the Texas Senate will pass the maps tomorrow. However, we now know that California is going to put forward a ballot measure to the people of California to consider mid-decadal redistricting in California, which would, once the people agree to it, would allow their legislature to consider alternative maps. But we know this is essentially unraveling quickly, and it's very clear that...
I did just check. I don't think that the Texas Senate has yet officially approved the maps as of now, just to be clear. I just looked it up because I was like, oh, did they yet? I don't think they have. The latest on Trump. Yeah, they haven't yet, but they will. I mean, they have the majority. Oh, I'm not agreeing. I cannot agree to any more of my data being sold. I'm sorry. I'm like trying to open a website to get more information. But this is what I want to show you guys. Okay. Everyone needs to tap the screen and share the live. I love this. This is Ann Johnson. I was listening to her speak yesterday and I was like, I've got to find clips of this to show this woman is a force to be reckoned with. This is one of the many people that was screaming before this vote in the House. Love this woman.
This is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barbara Jordan, aided by white people to have a voice, the first woman of color elected to the South, a woman who sat in the impeachment of Nixon, a woman who said that finally, after amendment, debate, and vote, I am finally part of we the people. To stand here as a 50-year-old woman and know that we now go back in time. So let's talk about cowardice and cheats. Because if you knew you could win this next election, you wouldn't be taking this effort to try to steal 5 seats from elected officials that members of color elected to represent them in Washington, D.C. You wouldn't be doing everything you can to take this coalition of diversity and stand up at the mic and say, why are we doing this? Because we can. And you shield your racism with your party, with ignorance and arrogance, to come up here and say, to be honest with you, I haven't read the bill from the other side. To be honest with you, I haven't talked to the lawyers to be bringing this before it. Because you think that people will give you grace on ignorance and arrogance around party, because you can't admit that the root of all of this is about racism and power. A power grab. A pure power grab. And so I'm going to ask, don't shake your head, because I'm going to give you a moment to prove what you mean behind that. Because when Donald Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, hey boys, I need you to steal me almost 12,000 votes, to those men credit, they said, no, sir. We already know what Governor Abbott said. In a few minutes, we're going to find out what y'all say. This is about...
That's like me if I had to be in politics. Don't shake your head. I would be doing exactly what this is, except for I'd probably be dragged out. I'd be probably thrown out of elected office. But man, like, you see what I'm saying? I mean, can we listen one more time to just appreciate it? Like, at least someone's there. Like, this is the point. When we lose democracy, when there truly are no elections, when Trump has Putin attack America so he can, remember, I don't know, and I just listen to every word Trump says. In the last 2 months, I've heard him say at least 20 times, oh, maybe we should do what Zelensky does and just declare a war, and then the elections will stop. Like, I don't know when the last election will be. I don't know if there will be midterms. I don't know if Trump's leaving office or not. I don't know. But just leave it all on the table. That's what I know. Don't be like, man, I wish I would have fought harder. I wish I would have got arrested. I wish I would have screamed louder, because just leave it all out on the floor. And that's what we need, is white people screaming the truth. This is about racism. Mathematically, this is about racism, period.
This is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barbara Jordan, aided by white people to have a voice, the first woman of color elected to the South, a woman who sat in the impeachment of Nixon, a woman who said that finally, after amendment, debate, and vote, I am finally part of we the people. To stand here as a 50-year-old woman and know that we now go back in time. So let's talk about cowardice and cheats. Because if you knew you could win this next election, you wouldn't be taking this effort to try to steal 5 seats from elected officials that members of color elected to represent them in Washington, D.C. You wouldn't be doing everything you can to take this coalition of diversity and stand up at the mic and say, why are we doing this? Because we can. And you shield your racism with your party, with ignorance and arrogance, to come up here and say, to be honest with you, I haven't read the bill from the other side. To be honest with you, I haven't talked to the lawyers to be bringing this before it. Because you think that people will give you grace on ignorance and arrogance around party, because you can't admit that the root of all of this is about racism and power. A power grab. A pure power grab. And so I'm going to ask, don't shake your head, because I'm going to give you a moment to prove what you mean behind that. Because when Donald Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, hey boys, I need you to steal me almost 12,000 votes, to those men credit, they said, no, sir. We already know what Governor Abbott said. In a few minutes, we're going to find out what y'all say. This is about racism.
And I pinned it. I'm going to pin it again really quick. Sorry, I spelled something wrong. I always pin things spelled wrong. This is Ann Johnson, but her I think this clip is from Instagram. I pinned it earlier. It's at Vote Ann Johnson if you want to follow her. which I think we all should. I think we need to support all of these Democratic reps that are fighting a supermajority, right? And willing to say the truth like this. Brilliant. I can never get enough. And just to contrast, I just want to show you a not white woman who's talking about, this is real. This is a clip from yesterday. And I was like, can I just die now? Like, this is a non-white woman who works for Donald Trump saying, like, yeah, like, we're gerrymandering the shit out of the maps in Texas, and we didn't ask the people of Texas if that's something they wanted to do mid-census, and we're disenfranchising Black and Hispanic people, but we're filing a lawsuit against California for coming up with the Eradicate Election Rigging Act and asking the people of California if they want to redistrict their maps, understanding that in 2030 they'll go back to normal. And then she's like, yeah, but the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear. The Supreme Court's like, no, weirdo. We are not going to, you guys are gerrymandering the maps in Texas. We can't punish California, like, for asking the citizens of California if they want to legally do something. Oh, wait, where's my, sorry, hold on. I have the clip. Just, I think for some reason, sometimes I have technical difficulties. Let me go find it. Because nobody should ever let this woman live this down. Like, and there's like 9, it's pretty much the same. Like, I think that, what are there, 9 Republican reps in California? And they're like, oh, it's so weird. The Supreme Court doesn't want to hear our random lawsuit that makes no legal sense whatsoever. Where is my clip? Oh, it is here. Sorry, I found it. Found it!
Now, yes, we filed one Constitution. Now, yes, we filed one of what I believe is going to be the first of many lawsuits asking the court to simply tell the California legislature, follow the law, follow the Constitution. Now, unfortunately, I just received word that the Supreme Court will not be taking up this lawsuit. But again, this is going to be the first of.
And I'm not a genius. I am 1,000 times smarter than this idiot who's speaking, but California is following the law. They are following the Constitution. Now, how you do that is you bring up a bill and you ask your constituents of California, is this something you want to do? Vote yes or no. That is following the law. Now, who did not follow that blueprint would be Texas, which is run like an authoritarian fascist state. And this idiot is like, why the Supreme Court wouldn't hear my baseless lawsuit about California, even though California is following the law. Like, go bang your head against a brick wall. Like, God, your parents must be so proud of your idiocy.
Constitution. Now, yes, we filed one of what I believe is going to be the first of many lawsuits asking the court to simply tell the California legislature, follow the law, follow the Constitution. Now, unfortunately, I just received word that the Supreme Court will not be taking up this lawsuit. But again, this is going to be the first of many because we are seeing and hearing that legislators have unconstitutionally and illegally been a part of drawing these maps.
Okay, that's news. So
they haven't been redrawn yet. You weirdo. Oh my God, this person's beyond help. But this is like Kevin Kiley too. Yeah, that's not what's going on. But yeah, I mean, exactly what you're describing is going on in Texas. So let's pray this reaches the Supreme Court. Let's do. And my guess is because it's a conservative Supreme Court who actually can read and can write and can do math, the reason they're not going to take up your idiot case that makes no sense is because then Texas might be in violation of it. You know what I mean? Like, God help Republicans and their brains that do not work. Like, there's no hope for these people. Kevin Kiley's like, this is illegal. Is it, Kevin? Is it illegal? Sorry, if you don't know who Kevin Kiley is, he's one of the 9 Republicans, in California, and he's very, very upset. He's having a lot of emotions about things. I've been trolling Kevin Kiley for 2 years now. He is one of my favorite people to anger. He is awful. Oh, this is the part of the Epstein stuff I was looking for this clip, and I don't think I played it. I'm just thinking if it's wrong to just randomly play something. I'm almost there anyways. Is it wrong to just randomly play an Epstein clip? I'm just going to play this because I do think it's important that people just know something. Sorry, hold on. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Sorry, I'm just deciding how far I need to talk about DC, and I'm deciding how deep in I want to go, but I have these Epstein clips I put in the middle of it, which I forgot about. No, I played one of them and I forgot the second one. Okay, I just need to play this. I don't want to be sued. The show's called The People's Receipts. I'm just playing information that other people are sharing, but I do think it's important because I've shared on many occasions that Michael Wolff reported. Michael Wolff is this guy who has all this information, so Trump is terrified of him and won't sue him because he has all these sources. It's all factual, whatever. He has sources upon sources, so he's the one, and I talked about this, he's the one that said many times and had sources to back it up that Trump only knows Melania through Jeffrey Epstein, and that Melania slept with Jeffrey Epstein before she ever slept with Trump. And Trump's very angry that people are effectively reporting on something that's backed up by many sources, but he won't sue Michael Wolff, the guy that has the proof and says this is true. He's punishing other people. So let's just do this as a palate cleanser because everyone should hear this. Why can't I hear this? Oh, this is going to be sad if we can't hear it. Is it for some reason muted? Oh, that's going to be sad. Whatever. I'll find the clip and I'll play it tomorrow, but it's a real thing. We have to move on to the DC National Guard and, them occupying DC. So, because I have seen so many disturbing clips. This cannot go unacknowledged. Wait, hold on. Why? Maybe it's all of my clips. Hold on a second. What is going on? Sorry, it's not my clips, it's TikTok Studio. I just realized, hold on, I have to add something where is my
corrupt criminal organization funneling money?
Sorry, I was we can hear the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, hold on.
All right, guys, we got yet another Trump Epstein bombshell to share here with you. So Michael Wolff blows the lid off this, and this is something that we know Melania doesn't want out there.
The lid hasn't been blown off this. This has been reported by multiple sources years ago. It's just that as a result of all the Trump lying and obfuscating and trying to cover up all his involvement in a child trafficking, that people are just oh yeah, this is the case. Yeah, this is not we knew this for 5 years.
She's threatening lawsuits, dog. She threatened to sue Hunter Biden for repeating the claim that originally came from Michael Wolff. And the claim was that Epstein introduced Trump and Melania. So she threatened to sue, right? And Hunter Biden came out on Andrew Callahan's show, Channel 5, and he said, fuck you, I'm not retracting it. This is from Michael Wolff. And there's a reason why, by the way, they didn't sue Michael Wolff, because Michael Wolff, if they sued Michael Wolff, all this shit would come out in discovery. He has his sources, he has his evidence, and so instead of going after the original person who said it, they're going after Hunter for repeating it, thinking, oh, hey, that'll help us get around discovery and this stuff won't come directly from Michael Wolff. I'm sure Hunter would work with Michael Wolff and Michael Wolff would work with Hunter and all that shit would come out anyway. But she's trying her best to hide the truth. So now Michael Wolff gives us a new bombshell revelation. Listen to this.
A new book was published yesterday in the US and UK entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. It's by a British journalist by the name of Andrew Loney. And it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also about his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump. And in fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship with Melania.
So again, this isn't a book that just came out this week. Just saying. And this is also why, if you don't understand, whenever Trump pisses off Putin, they start posting nudie pics of Melania. This is why. It's a joke. Now let's move on to what the F is happening in DC, because it's ridiculous.
Sending the National Guard. Trump sending the National Guard, the military into Los Angeles was not about immigration or riots. Trump sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C., federalizing the police is not about crime. His attacks on Harvard and other universities, Columbia, it's not about anti-Semitism. Firing the Bureau of Labor Statistics head is not because they released bad data. There were no immigrants eating dogs or cats in Springfield, Ohio. There wasn't any spigot of water to turn on during the LA fires. USAID was not a corrupt criminal organization funneling money to Democrats. This is all about Donald Trump capturing every single aspect of our government, our culture, and our society. It is an authoritarian power grab happening before our eyes and nothing more. So wake the F up. Sending the National Guard, Trump sending the...
Oh, thank God other people are realizing it. And this clip I love. This is going around on X. This is a National Guardsman who was protesting in DC against what the National Guard is now being called to do, which it gives me chills. I love it. Let's tap the screen. We're almost to 400K. Again, this is the National Guardsman who is protesting, and other National Guardsmen alongside him, what Trump is trying to force them to do, which is violate the Constitution and violate posse comitatus.
I stand here today deeply appalled at what I see my comrades doing across this country and now across our state. All members of the armed services took an oath, and when I took that oath, I meant it. I swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from both threats foreign and domestic. We swore to follow all legal orders and not to follow illegal orders. As a matter of fact, all soldiers have a moral and legal obligation to deny illegal orders. Let me be clear. No one is illegal, especially in America. Migration is not a crime. Seeking refuge is not an act of violence. Locking people up for it is. ICE does not make us safer. It exists to terrorize immigrant communities and enforce a system of racial and economic control. It is a modern day extension of white supremacy. White supremacy and its cooperation here at Camp Atterbury is an insult to the very history it was built on. If you are a member of ICE, law enforcement, or a fellow member of the armed services, ask yourself, why are immigrants coming to America in the first place? Is it because we invaded and bombed them? Did we topple their democratic governments? Is it because we assassinated their leaders and stole their resources? I stand here today deeply appalled at what I see.
Preach. At least someone's gotten it. And I just want to go over, these are, oh my gosh, this is now one of my favorite. Well, this is the weekend show, but these are people that are now with Michael Steele on weeknights, which I think I have some more clips on, but I love Ahmed Baba. This is people actually talking about numbers about DC. Oopsies. Sorry.
I remember when Republicans were the party of states' rights, right? DC's a little different, it ain't no state. But the other cities that they're talking about, those are in states where there are governors, where there are laws and how those governors are able to handle what's going on in their cities. That doesn't seem to be the case. What happened to states' rights? Where's that at?
I mean, the Republican Party isn't necessarily known for ideological consistency here, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
I know that's...
Well, at least not anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah, I mean, the interesting part of this is that this is clearly not about crime, right? Because if you look at Axios just did a study, right? 13 of the 20 U.S. cities with the highest homicide rates are in Republican states. And guess who isn't naming those Republican states? Donald, right? There's three things that these states have in common, these cities, right? Blue cities, blue states, black mayor. It's like they ran it through a chat GPT prompt. It was like, give me back the states, the cities that have these parameters, right? Because as we see, DC has a declining, violent crime rate, 30-year low, 26% down from this time last year to right now, right? And obviously with these National Guard troops and generally, it's illegal for them to do any civilian law enforcement, right? Under the Posse Comitatus Act, right? So he's pushing the envelope here.
I think it's 26%. Violent crimes down 26% year over year in DC. And then like since 2022, I think almost 50%. It's insane.
On that front, as Miles has outlined, but generally it's authoritarian spectacle because he feels weak right now. And I really think that's important to frame. This man has a 37% approval rating in the latest Gallup, right? And this is 3 points away from his post-January 6th low of 34%. So Donald Trump is 3 points away from being at his absolute political low, right? So that's the context from which this is happening. He's doing this authoritarian spectacle to deflect from his mounting scandals, to deflect from his weakening.
And the party's backing him.
And the party is backing him because they think they can make up for those losses through the gerrymandering.
Well, talk about, Ahmed, the danger of the possibility that things get ratcheted up just by the sheer presence of those folks there with not having extra weapons on their body.
That's a really smart observation because what he's trying to do is provocation. Right? Yeah. Donald Trump needs crises. He needs to manufacture crises in order to expand power. You know, as Miles noted with the invocation of the Insurrection Act, that would bypass the Posse Comitatus Act. And in order to do that, lies can only take him so far. Right. He's hoping that with this presence of these troops, he likes, the protests this weekend were peaceful and the No Kings protests were peaceful. He's hoping for a George Floyd 2020-like situation in DC where he can then use that to manufacture another emergency so we can expand.
Desperately wants a George Floyd. Do you know what I'm saying? He is desperately hoping that black people will go into the streets so he can be like, look at all these black people in the streets. Like, he's desperate for some sort of like fake riot that he can quell.
And power, because what we're seeing is that he governs by emergency, not by popular mandate, right?
And he gets to define the emergency.
Exactly. He just declares, I hereby declare emergency, and that gets to do whatever he wants, right? But in reality, there is no crime emergency that can't be handled by local law enforcement. There was no emergency at the border used to deport these innocent migrants to CCOT. There was no emergency to justify the tariffs. But that's what he uses to expand power. So that's what we should look out for here.
I hereby declare emergency is Donald Trump's name. Oh, and then let's get into these crime statistics. I love John Oliver. This is just quick.
While Trump talks of bloodshed, bedlam, squalor and worse, homicides in DC were actually down 32% last year and are down another 11% this year, on top of which the city's official violent crime rate in 2024 was the second lowest reported since 1966. But obviously, crime stats don't matter to this administration. This is all about a show of power, just like it was in June when Trump deployed the National Guard to LA on similarly flimsy pretenses. And he's already warning he may do the same in New York, Baltimore, Chicago and Oakland. While Trump talks of bloodshed, bedlam, squalor.
Thank you, John Oliver. And here's another one from Dan Coe, which I love. And I think you'll see him more and more in news streams. I like the way he uses numbers.
If Donald Trump really wanted to address crime, he literally is defunding the police more than any president in modern history.
Slow it down and walk us through this, because I think this is the most important thing.
So I come from the city of Boston, as you mentioned. The way you measure homicides typically is per 100,000 people. So Jackson, Mississippi is
Unaliving per 100,000. Crime rate per 100,000.
72. Memphis is 48. DC is 27. Boston is 3.5. How did we do that? We did it through community violence intervention. The clergy, the community, and the government all working together. And so the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, for example, put $250 million towards these kind of programs. Donald Trump froze 800 million Department of Justice grants, 550 programs across 48 states dedicated to things like community violence intervention. That's one of the biggest cuts in history. He also froze 700 FBI jobs, 100 million from the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, another 100 from domestic violence programs and violence against women at the DOJ. So if you actually want to address the problem of crime, you invest in these kind of programs. He's doing the exact opposite. And by the way, marching around Georgetown is not the way to reduce crime in D.C., okay? Marching DEA agents around the mall where there was...
Confused. Georgetown is where the richest of the rich people are and there's no crime. And there are heat maps that are being spread all over. Look it up. Like it's just a show of force for rich Republicans. The National Guard is nowhere near where crime happens in D.C. They're just in rich areas where each townhouse is like $20 billion. It's super weird. Oh wait, it's not weird. And also, I just want to say again, the number one driver of crime is poverty. So defunding the Department of Education and disbanding what little equity and services there are to create equity in our Jim Crow public school system will only increase crime. Everything Trump is doing, and when crime goes up, notice under Biden, from the point the pandemic was under control and we got the economy, from 2022 on, crime has dropped. And from what Trump is doing, the desperation he is creating, I guarantee you crime will go up. And the only interesting part, because MAGA can't do math and they don't understand how the world works, will they still blame it on Joe Biden in 2 years when crime is up, or will they correctly identify it's because Trump made everything so expensive that people can't feed their kids and so they are in dire circumstances? I don't know. We shall see. Oh, this is a great clip from Fox yesterday.
I haven't been one for the song and dance, whether you're, yodeling outside of the Department of Education or a mariachi band. But Michelle Wu is very popular in Boston, and Donald Trump's immigration policy is not. And you can tell what's going on because people like Stephen Miller and even, what we just heard are talking about an immigration policy that is not actually reflective of how it's being put into practice. That's why Donald Trump is down between 5 and 15 points on immigration. Only 38% support deporting all illegal immigrants. They were saying that they were going to go worst first. That is not how they're doing this. The raids at Home Depots and immigration courts, it's not sitting well with the American people, and it's having the opposite effect of what they wanted. We now have in the latest Gallup polling, 79% now have the highest view in recorded history saying immigration is a good thing for the country. And before you say, well, it's never about not liking immigrants, we just want you to do it the legal way. We just want you to do it the legal way. Part of that also was that they didn't want you going around and picking up people who had been here for decades and were positive members of their communities. Say about D.C. that it's all, white rich people that are doing the protesting. And I saw Stephen Miller said that as well. But the Washington Post is out with new polling. 79% of D.C. residents oppose Trump's takeover of D.C. police, including 80% of black residents and 67% of Latino residents.
Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth's liver, Keg's breath, and J.D. Vance saying that it was old rich hippies or communists or something that had a problem with what was going on in DC. Unfortunately, again, math foils your lie, which MAGA, that you can't figure out what's going on to save your life. But again, and in case you don't know, here's actual people on the street who are not old white hippies in DC who know likey what Trump's doing.
Why do you think Trump is so adamant about taking control over the District of Columbia?
It's a distraction from the Epstein stuff.
Patrol this. I'm a native Washingtonian. Yes, I'm a member also of the D.C. National Guard. I support law enforcement. I do not support this. Right. Donald Trump is a pathological liar. He is a 34 counts convicted felon. He is not interested in making D.C. safe. He doesn't care about homeless. He doesn't care about black people. Donald Trump only cares about himself. He's a pathological liar, and he supports pedophilia and white supremacy. The Posse Comitatus Act prohibits the National Guard from engaging in law enforcement. That is not their function. That is not their purpose.
Do you think crime is up in D.C.? No, crime's at a 30-year low. It's down 26% this year.
Do you feel like the city is safe?
It's absolutely safe. I walk my dog at night. I'm always out in the community. I love being here.
D.C. formerly has self-rule, but in reality, the rich people still run the city. We've seen that over the last 50 years as disinvestment has destroyed communities. The war on drugs has destroyed communities. The city council just voted to give Harris, the guy who owns the Commanders, $1 billion. That shows you where the city council really lies, with the rich people and the billionaires.
We don't need the National Guard here. We have over 3,000 police officers. We have over 32 police forces. The idea that we need more police is crazy as hell. Like I said, that's coming from somebody who walks the streets of D.C. every single day. And all in all, though, Washington, D.C. is still a beautiful place to be. It's still a safe place to be. I'm proud to raise my daughter here. I'm proud to live here, and I don't feel afraid at all.
Anywhere you go in the United States, you're going to have crime in major cities.
There are all these non-old white hippies in D.C. saying the same thing. It's so strange.
This is a major city. So I'll say we're pretty safe, and I say he's overreaching. He don't really know what he's doing.
Now, did you know that he criminalized homelessness?
If you homeless, man, life done already beat you up. And you don't need to be beat up by a racist president.
Donald Trump, all of these politicians who are behind this, they don't really live here. They're here to, go to that building for show and then they go home.
Right.
But some of us really do have to live here, and we don't want, the National Guard on the streets. We don't want the militarized police department rounding people up. We don't want ICE here. We just want to live our lives.
I feel like this is a moment that we've all seen before, especially as Black people in this country. We know what it's like for our communities to be constantly occupied. The Trump administration has shown that time and time again that they are willing to flout the rules, to break whatever's legal out here. Free DC is an organization that is fighting for the autonomy of DC. And it's important that we show that every step during history that we never consented to this, no matter what happens. The time is now to fight back. It is not time for us to be anticipatorily compliant to what a fascist regime is asking for us. So we need to be the counterculture that we want to see.
Do not be anticipatorily compliant. Way too many syllables for MAGA. We're still trying to get them to learn to read and do math. So that they have no idea. But that is literally what we should put on all their tombstones. They were anticipatorily compliant, bigoted and idiotic at every mother effing turn. And I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop now. I just got to 3 hours. I have to take my dad somewhere really quick to get his blood drawn. Sorry. I take care of my dad. And then tomorrow, what I'm going to start with tomorrow is kind of the same subject of DC, but what's going on with the Smithsonian and how they're denying slavery. And I'm going to, if anyone wants, overnight, look up the 1619 Project, right? Because Trump is literally trying to erase the transatlantic slave trade from the Smithsonian Museum. Look up the Middle Passage, look up the 2 million Africans who died during the Middle Passage, which, if you count every war fought since 1776, that's more Black people that just died in the ocean being trafficked here than ever died in fighting for America's freedom in this country, period. I mean, everyone added together fighting for America's freedom. More people just drowned in the ocean during the Middle Passage. So I invite everyone to look up the 1619 Project, because as Trump seems very determined to just deny the horrors of slavery, I've been spending a lot of time reintroducing myself to the horrors of slavery, which is God, it is traumatic. But if you don't understand, you think the Holocaust in Germany was bad, meet the transatlantic slave trade, which makes the Jewish Holocaust look like child's play. And if you don't understand that, if you cannot grasp that we weren't helping Africans pull themselves up by the bootstraps, that it was much worse than any Holocaust that's ever been seen, if you're not familiar with what we did to indigenous people, you need to get familiar, because we are watching the erasure of history. And let me put it this way. I have a history degree. As we erase history from books, then the only way to carry it forward is through oral traditions, right? So I think make sure it's upon yourself to understand the transatlantic slave trade, be able to speak to it, be able to tell those stories. Because as we rewrite history, the only way to pass down real history will be through oral tradition, which was one of my big projects when I was a history major and my senior thesis. Like, the same thing happened with the Mexican repatriation. That was what my thesis was on. Like, we need to understand how many Holocausts, like, the Holocaust was a joke compared to what we did. Just drowned in the Middle Passage of the transatlantic slave trade, 2 million. 2 million. Just drowned, chained together, tortured, and drowned. Before we even started torturing them here. Educate yourself. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll start talking about the Smithsonian and J.D. Vance and all the rest of the horrors. But love you guys so much. Thank you so much for everyone that supported me today. I appreciate you more than you know. Later, Gators.